Okay. How's this work? All right. Okay, so far there seems to be no one but myself watching my live stream. Okay. Let me see what's going on my channel. All right. Prepare for the echoing effect. Right. All right. So it looks like we are more or less good to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably wondering why I'm doing such a late night stream, and one particularly by myself with no guests. And as you can see from the title, it says live stream test. Now, recently, YouTube, or as many of my friends, colleagues, and rivals are starting to call it, Idiots Incorporated, have discontinued the very easy to use and very low tech Hangouts on Air option. So instead, you're forced to either do a live stream through a webcam, which is unfortunate for people who don't have webcams. I don't know how MJ Knight over at his channel is going to handle future live streams on Sunday. Or you have to set up this complicated encoder thing that doesn't exactly recognize the equipment that I have. So yeah, kind of sucks either way. I know that YouTube is a major mainstream company, and they got to keep their constituents or donors, I guess, happy and sponsors happy. So they always have to abandon older formats and layouts and displays for more complicated but supposedly hip and market-friendly programs, or just display options or interfaces to their regular website. But it really just freaking sucks. And I know I'm an old man in his 30s. I'm hitting death's door. I'm soon to die any moment. I've lived a good century, because that's how long 30 years are. I was there when they made the very first movie in existence, The Empire Strikes Back. It was the first one ever made, according to the young folks. And as you know, the young folks are all that matters anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Blah. So, yeah. Now, I don't know if my audio is coming out. I won't know until after the live stream is over. And I may have to end up getting some new programs just so I can better handle these kind of things in the future. But as it stands, it looks like the future of live stream of consciousness will be a little iffy, to say the least. So, and it's funny too, because at first I thought live stream of consciousness was a really unpopular show, and it is. Okay, but my friends, Brayton, James, and all those various people, they generally enjoy doing this program. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Right now, I'm also listening to myself coming out on the YouTube, and I sound more or less okay. I don't know if the reverb picks up onto the DVD itself, live stream itself, I should say, but the lag time is incredibly good, like just a couple of 3 seconds from behind from what I say. It's almost like, oh, echo, echo, echo. All right, roughly 5 seconds behind. Okay, I just did, or I don't know, I didn't do the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi type thing. Okay, so, and there's only one person here, so if somebody else shows up, great. If not, no problem. But if anybody, I might get Andres Perez, depending on how late this thing goes. But as it stands, it's just going to be me rambling on about random stuff. And after experiencing G-Fest, which you'll see more informative videos in the future on my friend Kaiju Noir's channel, I've come to the conclusion that a lot of the younger Godzilla fans get easily butthurt about King Kong. especially after their reaction to D-Man over at the YouTubers page, YouTubers panel, I should say, at this previously wrapped up G-Fest, which was sometime last month in late July. And it's and also the common attitude of a lot of Godzilla fans, like, you know, no, I didn't go see or support Kong Skull Island because it's not a part of the Godzilla universe and it has Kong and I hate it. It's a no, it's directly connected to it. It's the equivalent of Mothra quickly being fall behind Godzilla versus the Thing, or however you want to say it. Oh, well, actually, the real title of the movie is Mothra Tai Godzilla, or Masura Tai Gojira. Okay, first off, fanboys, shut the hell up. No offense, I have a lot of really good fans, so the people I'm talking about are the ones that I generally don't much care for, aka the extreme diehard gatekeeping or younger generations of more aggressive fans. The gatekeeping old geezer gatekeepers. Yeah, those guys also suck. But yeah. Anyways, so what else can I do here? I'm testing this out. All right, I can see one person's watching, but that's me just monitoring my own progress. All right, participants. Okay, I am saying that wrong. All right, in Shoma, but can I invite anyone else? Popular. Yeah, no, it just tells me who's on the live stream. I don't know how I can get more people onto it. So far this sucks. All right. I can still share on Facebook, because heaven forbid we don't do anything outside of Facebook. So, doing a test live stream for the night. Join me if you're insane insomniacs like myself. Okay. Yes, I speak as I type. I'm terrible at multitasking, so this is all I can do. I honestly don't know how to invite other people onto this live stream, so already this kind of sucks. Yeah, and I don't do well trying to learn the new technologies either. So, and I can't multitask either. So I don't know if I'll be able to do much artwork on this beautiful gentleman right here. So I will do my best to try to be as talkative and as wonderful as possible, but I'm going to try to get somebody on board with me, although the only person who might be up around this time is Andres Perez. Okay, there's a little arrow icon. Embed, copy. Oh, what is this nonsense? Email? I contact email. All right, there's a Russian option because heaven forbid we don't do anything for the Russians. There's a lot of Russian options on this bloody website. It's like, that would not be a bad problem right now, but you kind of screwed us over, Russia, and you really have thin skin for a country that's famous for bending over to tyrants, and also you have really upset Google robots and hackers. So let's see how my channel fares in the near future. So seriously, you guys are becoming more of an opposing joke than just either opposing or, well, yeah, whatever. Yes, that's how angry I am right now. I'm challenging a completely different country outside America. And it's supposed to be one of the happy American friendly countries that also has recently done videotapes about us being destroyed by their newest and latest weaponry system. So yeah, thank you, Russia. Because you know what they say, bullies will back up other bullies even when other bullies threaten to kill said bullies. Okay. There's Twitter and Instagram. Oh man. Okay, so I tried the email option, and it's like the ancient version of computer-based email, where it's not directly connected to your Google. It's like a separate program from the computer itself, and that's a really ineffective way to go about it. So yeah. So once again, live stream of consciousness lives by its alternative title of learning computers within Shoma. So yeah. What's this? Yeah, emojis. You always got to have a damn emoji. All right, there's a little paper airplane. All right, live chat. What's this on the side? Popular chats. Toggle time stamp. What the hell is that? Okay. Found the mute option, the mute microphone option. Okay. Okay, so far I'm hating this new setup. I'm really hating this new option. So, okay. All right, let's see what happens when I go to Google Beta as I'm doing this bloody live stream. All right, I'm gonna have to close up all the red letter media channels I've been watching a lot lately. Hence the incredibly boring cat video where you can hear Mike Saglasa and oh man, the other guy, the little bearded guy, looks a little bit like Captain America. If Captain America was a Keebler elf. Not Rich Evans. Rich Evans is a different Keebler elf altogether. Jeb something. I don't know. He seems like a nice enough guy. But yeah, Mike Saglasa, Rich Evans, and third guy. And yeah, the regular hosts of Red Letter Media. So I'm going to lower the volume a little bit because the echoing effect is distracting me. Because I'm a highly intelligent person, but my my reaction skills are as nimble as a turtle on sleepy day. Okay, live events. All right, maybe I can invite people through the main live events. Live control room. Little arrow, basic info, cards. Ingestion settings? What the hell is ingestion settings? New, you no longer need to specify the resolution and frame rate for new stream keys. I have no idea what the hell you're saying, Idiots Incorporated. That's okay. We'll get rid of your little channel eventually, inshallah, you son of a gun. God damn you. God damn you to hell, YouTube. Or should I say Idiots Incorporated? All right, so if you thought live stream of consciousness lived to its title, you haven't seen anything yet, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so cards, live control room. Let's see what happens when I do this. Taking a while to load. So do I have to invite people ahead of time just to let them onto the channel? That's pretty terrible. Stream status, good. Variable resolution stream. Okay, where's the part where I can invite my friends so I'm not just rambling to myself for ages on end? Oh, breathe, ref. By the way, if anyone knows where they sell good DVD recorders, I know it's a kind of obsolete technology at this point, but by all means, send me information recommendations my way, because other than that, oh, hold on. According to this, the live streams, the health is good. Okay, I thought it was like, is it talking about my health or the stream has health? Okay, that's bizarre grammar. I don't know if it's good grammar or not because I'm not that good at grammar, but that sounds suspect grammar-wise. The health is good when talking about a computer live stream. but at the same time, it sounds like something a sentient computer program would say about itself or a fellow program, i.e., this live stream test. So start encoder, stop streaming. Don't want to press that big red button. I want this to last a little longer. Preview screen, ingestion settings. I've ever tried that stupidity. Info and settings. Right? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, looks like you can't invite any friends or advanced settings. What we got here? Looks the same as the old Google Hangouts. Added delay. Okay, I don't need to work on that. I don't know what the hell DVR is. Digital video recorder, I guess. Oh, digital video recorder. That's what that means. Learning computers within Shoma Late Night Rerun Edition, because the daytime is filled with stupid news and endless reruns of The Big Bang Theory. Bazinga! 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 I know this is going to be the, like, what is it? If the internet historian does, like, the downfall of Inshoma, this is the video he's going to use against me. Bazinga! Clearly, Inshoma was a disturbed man who enjoyed his Big Bang Theory, the most evil show ever made, at least according to insecure nerds on the defensive. Bazinga! Okay. Wow, what do you know? I cannot invite friends onto my live stream. This generally sucks. Okay. So yeah, looks like the future of live stream of consciousness is in peril because of this simple feature no longer being available. But hey everybody, it's okay because I still have an emoji option. God damn it. So I'm going to try my best not to get angry. Although it would be nice to get angry. All right, participants. Yeah. Can I add more to it? Do I need to read your complicated help section? Do I need to watch one of those help videos with, a guy with an extremely thick accent, regardless if he means well or not? Welcome. It's I was going to originally do a Hindu accent, but then I realized that would be offensive, so I went with this bizarre alien frog thing. Ooh. Okay, so far I hate this. I hate it so much. All right, what happens if I press this little... Yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, I can't bring anybody on board anymore. This sucks. Oh. A Descent into Madness, Vile Inshoma. And Idiots Incorporated. Thank you, Idiots Incorporated. Send feedback. What does send feedback mean? Include screenshot, describe your issues or share ideas. Yeah, how do I invite friends, you idiots? Go to legal help page to request content change for legal reasons. It's because, you're in pockets with moronic new programs creators and you want to appeal to these idiots. Right? Somehow looking at that is affecting the live stream, at least on my end. Private policy in terms of service. Some account and system information may be sent to Google. We need to use the information you give us to help address technical issues and improve our services subject to our private policy in terms of whatever. Describe your issues or share your ideas. How the hell do I invite friends to my live stream because I do not see any, in all capitals, option to do so, and it's annoying me to no ends. You motherfuckers. Oh my goodness. Does this explain why Matt Burkett on his last Monstrosities live stream was just Matt Burkett by himself talking to somebody over a cell phone? Holy crap. Yeah, okay, that explains everything. Oh god, this new chat system sucks. And unlike Patreon, I don't think YouTube will cower to mob mentality. Unless, of course, it's something stupid like, oh, nobody likes the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. I guess we'll have to, abandon that movie. Oh, no! So, needless to say, I'm kind of pissed off right now. This is, yeah, you're going to hear me break literally live in front of anybody who happens to be awake. But so far, there's only one person watching, and that's me watching my live stream, watching this. So, but hey, at least I can do another Dirty McCorruption April Fool's one-man show. Hooray. Huzzah. Bazinga. Return to YouTube Studio. Okay. All right. I don't want to waste any more time on this. I know it's only been 20 minutes, but I'd rather work on this beautiful little monster image I'm trying to get done. I have I mentioned in the last live stream of consciousness, I have a friend named Jesse who's recently posted a bunch of his original stories onto a major reading website and has gotten like thousands of views over it so far. Probably not thousands, probably somewhere in the hundreds, but it's a lot of views he's been getting. And in all honesty, I kind of want to do a bunch of artwork related to his story, and this is a major character that's connected to it. Well, not really a major character, but more of a location that happens to be a character. This creature you see before you is the Plesiotrus, which, of course, as you can tell from the name, the Plesiotrus is a combination of the words plesiosaur, the ancient aquatic reptile that's often mistaken for a dinosaur, but isn't, and fortress, as in castle, home, fortified home, of great size and anti-invading defense, I should say. So yeah, Plesiotrus, and true to its name, it's a giant plesiosaur-like creature that lives in space that has a gigantic, technologically advanced dome/city shell-like dome/city fortress on its back. Now, this is supposed to be the star field that's supposed to go behind the creature, but I will not be ruining the star field until I get all the line work on this giant guy down right. That's when I can erase the parts that he's in the star field here. And this star field, by the way, is something I quickly whipped up yesterday. Although, as you can see, I kind of cheated a bit and I copied a lot of the stars and pasted them on top of each other since I had them on a separate layer. And the problem with that is, as you can see, there's way too many Orion-style belts going on in the picture. So it's like, we got one here. Oh, got one here, one here. Yeah, so yeah, these are a lot of stars that should not be close together. But from the distance, they actually look pretty good. Originally, it was supposed to be just white stars against a black background. But the kind of gray cloud, I know there's no clouds in space, but I guess this is sort of a cosmic cluster or something that looks like clouds. You see these in photographs from NASA all the time. So, or at least when they used to show real photographs from NASA, before switching to these really crappy CGI recreations, for reasons that I know conspiracy theorists like to claim it's a way to hide all the true nature of the universe. But knowing my cynical self, I like to think that it's probably NASA thinking it's a new technology that looks cool, even though it's completely inaccurate and misleading to what, it's like, why not take an actual picture of Mars? Oh, the CGI creation is much more cooler, and plus we owe favors to the computer company that gave it to us, so we have to use it. I remember, I don't know if it was a Nature document, a science documentary, or some news article that says that if a giant meteor was going to hit the Earth, there are like many different scientific methods to get the meteor out of Earth's path, but the military and the government will use possibly ineffective, if not devastating, nuclear options. Not because they can't think of anything outside, any scientific methods outside the nuclear option, but because they owe favors to the weapon manufacturers. And if they don't use the missiles on a meteorite, they don't get their taxation bonus at the end of the year. Meaning the world's going to be destroyed because of a taxation, because of bureaucratic red tape. And that almost sounds like a great idea for a science fiction satire, where we can save the world from all these like cosmic threats, whether it be something as realistic as a meteorite or something fantastic like an alien invasion. But it's constant human stupidity and red tape that keeps getting in the way. And I know some people say, but in Troma, they already made that movie. It was called Deep Impact because it had a black president in it. Played by Morgan Freeman. Of course he'd ruin it. And I say, okay, asshole, jerk who lives down the street, go away. Armageddon was a terrible movie. How dare you speak ill of Armageddon? I hate you. Okay. Oh my God, and Shoma's mind is being lost as he speaks. The old man dementia mixed with the Idiots Incorporated new streaming service has gotten the best of him. Oh no! I'm old! Bazinga! Okay. Anyways, getting back on point was, there's this star field, a cosmic cluster. Originally, it was just me black on white stars against a black background, but it was just so kind of boring and banal. I decided just to kind of throw in the grayish cloud to give it some variety. I'm adjusting the camera a little bit. I should really get myself some sort of tripod, because right now this thing is on top of the art and making of Aquaman book from the library and a cardboard box underneath that. And by the way, the art and making of Aquaman is a pretty terrible book. It's like, but then again, a lot of modern day books featuring original artwork from the films, which is something I love seeing concept art. But first off, they take a relative small handful of all these gorgeous pieces of artwork, blow up each artwork to a full page. It's almost as ridiculous as a joke of a novelist. I got to fill up a 500-page book. I know, I'll make the fonts 28 size big. So that way I'll get the 500 on 30 pages. And actually, that doesn't make much sense if you do the math. But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's a really terrible book. I'm willing to open up this dumb thing that's underneath the camera right now and show you guys. But I don't know. One thing I will say, I will be returning this Aquaman book to the library with extreme prejudice tomorrow morning. Because, oh my goodness, this is a crappy book. This is not how you do a Hollywood book. I'm going to rants. Okay, so this is the Starfield. I have to put a gray cloud-like cosmic cluster in the back. I don't know what the correct terminology is. A nebula, I think. But it just seemed more interesting. But I didn't want to go the, what I usually do with my Starfields, which is just to make kind of a bluish background. And just to give you an idea of what I usually kind of do, it's like it would look something a little bit like this, although less. Actually, that looks nice. I may end up just doing that because that's good. But then usually my star fields are like a lot of big bright blues, and it looks more like a really cool night sky than it does a proper space background. I've done those kind of similar star fields for my friend Andres Perez on his channel numerous times. I got one thumbs up. Oh, Branzit Film. I am an insane insomniac. Hello, Branzit. Unfortunately, I cannot invite you onto the freaking live stream because YouTube sucks. So add moderator, hide user on this. I'm looking at the options. Hopefully, okay, report. I can report Brayton and send him to into YouTube jail. I can remove him, which I won't because so far he's saying nice things. So far, put user in time hide user on this, add moderator. So in other words, no option to bring Brayton Connor onto this damn live stream. This sucks. This sucks. Brayton, if you want to talk to me through the text, I'll be happy to write back. So, hold on. Hello, Brayton. This message is held for review. Brayton. Oh shit, YouTube jail. Nah, that's okay. I'll show it. At this, yeah, it's like apparently once you pass the 30-minute mark, you can curse up a storm. So, bazinga! There, I said a bad word that scares nerds. So, okay. Because of YouTube's new live stream program, I cannot bring others on board, which is lame. Although I am happy to say the chat area in YouTube now has a much better autocorrect. It's not autocorrect, but you know, it's like a spell check. So, do you know how to get you on the live stream or not? It should spelled not with a K. Why did I spell whatever? Anyways, this is a Starfield, guys. All right, so yeah, the Starfield looks great. I saved it as a separate file, so it's great for like a wallpaper desktop. I'll be posting my Starfields on DeviantArt very soon. This is the Plesiotrus, however, and I'm still working on the inks because it's like I know I could easily cheat it and just give it a nice coloring job, but I want the line work to be as strong as possible. Okay, hold on. Brayton just reviewed. What are you using to stream? Okay. Holy crap. Hold on. I'll move the camera to give you a bizarre effect of what's. This is what I'm using to stream. It's called a computer. No, I'm just kidding. This is This was the only option available to me. This is sort of their new setup for live streaming, and this is instant live streaming. So yeah, this kind of sucks, and I cannot find any way to invite friends onto it. Oh, by the way, this is the book in question. Yeah, the art and making of Aquaman. This book sucks. So we'll talk more about that in a little later. So yes. I don't know. I don't know, Brayton. I don't know if I can bring you aboard. So, oh, Brayton. Now I know how people felt during the Berlin Wall's heyday. It's like all we can do is just send a little. I can't even send like a little ball with a note over the YouTube wall. We are forever separated. Okay. Yeah, this sucks. This right sucks. There's a little arrow. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice. So yeah, this is like the crappiest, most simple setup in the history of YouTube. This stinks. Oh, there's 2 people watching now. All right, who else do we have in the chat? Oh, it's probably just me and Brayton. Okay. Edit video, analytics, report, add, share, blah, 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 dippity, dippity, duck. You know, it's a shame they don't have the Skype or Discord option. Although apparently everybody who uses Discord doesn't like to talk on Discord, so it's all typing. And now I got like hundreds of people who want me to do Instagram and Twitter, and that is like my least favorite thing to do right now. All right. Creator Classic, Studio Classic. All right. So I need is missing. Oh my God. Learn computers within Shoma Live. Channel uploads, other settings. Oh, this sucks. This sucks. I regret not doing one last live stream of consciousness the night before YouTube decided to completely end Creator Studio Classic. All right, hold on. We might get some settings saved. All right, public, playlist, card, end screen. No, I just realized I may have just stopped my own live stream for this madness. Yeah, it's a totally new setup, Brayton, and so far there is no option whatsoever for me to invite other people on. It's like, and the settings are extremely simplistic. This is ridiculous. Advanced, disabled, interest-based ads. This sucks. Yeah, no. Recently, Matt Burkett, he tried doing a Monstrosities live stream, and for some reason he was unable to bring other people on board, so he had literally had to talk to them through a cell phone. And I'm thinking this is one of the unfortunate situations that this new system has to offer. Yeah, this sucks. I cannot invite anybody on board, like at all. So now alternatively, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I got a crazy idea. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Brayton, hold on. We're going to cheat this son of a bitch. I mean, we're going to cheat this. We're going to cheat this sucker. Oh, man. This is what I call old school trickery. If this works out, this is going to be so awesome. If not, it's going to suck. It's gonna suck. All right, hold on. This is gonna suck. Oh, this is gonna be the stupidest idea in the world. But I have no other choice. Because YouTube isn't giving me another choice. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. So I don't know if, hold on, I'm going to check if you're coming through. I am using Skype and the computer speakers to talk to you on YouTube's new version of live stream, because YouTube are filled with idiots.
Well, I'm sure there's a way to figure out how to bring people in somehow. You just got to get used to it.
Yeah, some like secret button that they have hidden beneath one of the 143 damn emojis they got.
Come to find out, it's the big glowing neon button in the corner that says "invite people," and you're like, I can't find it nowhere. That says, "Honey, where to put the remote?"
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna cheat this. We're gonna cheat this bitch by just having Brayton talk on the speakers while I talk to you
Oh, do I sound like a World War II fighter pilot? Like coming, hello, Red 5, I'm coming in now. We're circling Cuba.
Probably, and I don't know.
This is Walter Winchell with your daily update. Brighton Connor shot down over Western.
Brayton boy, can you hear me? Oh, this is what happens when we have the son of Amelia Earhart fly a plane. Damn it!
Oh no!
You know a woman is inferior when their own male children insist on taking on the same jobs.
Dude, is anybody else a pilot? Anybody? Harrison Ford? No, we're even more doomed.
Uh-oh, and he's high.
I can fly this plane. Let me light up a bowl.
Oh, here comes the Zeppelin of Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's not an engine. It's just Harrison Ford grumbling.
I'm out of Star Wars, but they still keep bringing back me in. Okay.
Just when I thought I was out, they keep pulling me back in.
Okay, yeah. Oh, this is hilarious. You're right. I'm probably gonna find it's probably be as simple as like there's like a button right there, but knowing my luck, it's gonna be like so small and minuscule that it's impossible.
It's like hidden under tabs, and you got to open a window.
Yeah, exactly. Which seems to be the course for freaking YouTube.
No.
So yeah, and I don't know how clear you're coming out, but yeah, this is working. Like like the caveman light bulb flashed into my head, and it's like I can use fire to burn other things.
Okay. Yeah, I'm listening back to the live stream. I'm audible at least.
Audible, yeah, but you should be crystal clear, my friend, because you're.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is gonna kind of suck.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure out some way how to do this.
Right. So I wonder how many of my 100 or nearly 200 subscribers are going to
223, Rap.
223. Oh, that's good.
I have more.
Ugh, don't you sound like Mr. Fancy Pants? How many do you have, anyways?
I have 295.
Oh, that's good. Oh my god, you're just
closing on 300, and I don't do anything.
Yeah. As opposed to my little dog and pony show, and now I got the hiccups. This is what happens when I get excited.
Yeah, should I scare them out of you, Raph?
Go ahead.
Boo! Oh God! Oh, I got another thing for you, Raph. Roar! One of my favorite MST sketches is from the Screaming Skull, where Crow is just a little skull on the desk. And he literally just goes, "Rawr!" and Mike screams at the top of his lungs and comes back and starts beating him in the head with like golf clubs and everything, just screaming and overreacting over just "Rawr!"
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Uh-oh, someone else is scared too.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, sweetie. Raph is all right.
Boo!
Don't encourage the dog.
Verizon Wireless.
Okay, I won't do it. If I do it, the dog does it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is my favorite kind of shit show. When the shit is dried up and it's easy to pick up with a baggie.
Ooh, that's vivid.
Oh. Yeah, the shit is pure white and it's dried out and it's like picking up styrofoam. You still got to watch your hands.
All right, I think that's enough. I think we get the picture. Pretty crystallized.
Yeah, but okay. And so far it's just you and me, my friend. So, okay, so I try to start out thinking about stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
And I do want to bring up like this like I watched after much hesitation and fear and interpretation and nightmare-infused trauma, I decided to watch Kaiju Noir's little video, the YouTubers panel. And thank you so much for adding all those funny little touches with the editing, because if it was just a straight video of just people talking, like some of the other versions of that same video floating around, I would have been like what is I like the guys on stage,
Mhm.
most of them, and there's some hilarious banter going on, especially from the likes of Matt Burkett and Titan Goji and all those fine folks, and
Mhm.
Kaiju Noir, of course. But it's the audience interaction kind of just gets on my nerves a bit because it's like, guys, I know some of these films aren't great, and I know you prefer some characters over others. It's like what is it? What do you say? Like after D-Man was somewhat serious about being on Teen Kong.
Well, he is serious, but he's a little jokingly with it. He just finds the humor in the fact that everybody else and I find it hilarious that everybody cares that much. Like they violently are against anybody having an alternate opinion about this shit that does not matter in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, exactly. And you followed that up with a great clip from The Simpsons.
Yeah. He's history's greatest monster.
Jimmy Kong Carter. Coming soon to the BBC because we got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is a boondoggle.
Yeah, well, that whole thing is just so sad. Yeah, the people in the audience, I don't know. I really don't know about people in fan bases anymore, especially that fandom.
Oh god,
not to insult anybody out there, because if your listeners are probably more likely than not in that fandom.
Yeah, well, my listeners are pretty cool people, and I think I've only it's like
I know I am, right?
Yes, you are. You're among the 223 cool cats.
Oh yeah, man, I'm a cool cat.
Yeah, welcome to Shoma's channel. Nothing but jazz and techno music from Japan, man.
We're gonna jive all night long, daddy-o.
Following up, we got Cassiopeia, followed by some other band.
We got a song about fruit dishes now.
Awesome.
Put your grapes in a dish and eat them all up.
Yeah. I'm smoking raisins. It's doing nothing for me.
The California raisins, Raph? Those will get you high.
I think there's some added preservatives, if you know what I mean. Wait, that's what you're alluding to.
Yeah.
So, it's funny. They made such a big deal about there'd be mass murders and accidents going on in California once marijuana was made illegal, but nothing's happened because we're too busy worrying about the mass shootings. That was oh god.
How would that? I mean, the California's full of lazy people as it is. How's marijuana going to change anything?
Yeah, well, it's the way I think about the marijuana situation. Before we get back to Kong, related.
They're very similar topics, right?
Oh yeah, that red berry juice, my friend.
Yeah. Dr. Makino's red berry juice.
Oh, I'm so high on this right now. I mean, these are good berries. Try. He just fumbly puts the cherry in Mr. Taco's mouth. Like, quit it.
What if that entire movie was just a commercial paid advertisement for Dr. Makino's berry juice?
I thought that wouldn't be the first time that there's been an entire movie that's just an entire kaiju movie that's just a disguised advertisement. Like, for example, the recent book, Kaiju for Hipsters by Kevin Darendorf. It talks
Hufflepuff.
You know too much about kaiju. You go to the terrible spin-off movie.
Oh yes, I'm sensing a lot of useless yet interesting knowledge hidden in that brain. You get Darendorf. Who hurt you, Sorting Hat? Who hurt you?
So many wizards.
Oh, so much lice.
Right. So that would be terrifying. Like if there's apparently there's a dimension inside that hat. You think it'd be filled with jumbo-sized Lovecraftian lice.
Yeah.
Or anyways, yeah. On page 177 of Kaiju for Hipsters, he talks about the Ultraman Zeroth movies. And although I thought it was just a gag because I'm not familiar with the Japanese brand, those movies are more or less extended advertisements for a gas station company.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that explains why Ultraman Zeroth, his name is Zeroth because it's a mix of the special eco-friendly gas that's used. That explains all the commercials where Ultraman Zeroth is trying to defend this little miniature Earth in the palm of his hands from all these classic monsters. That's why the alien villains are called the Benzin. It's a play on benzonite, or a harmful chemical found in most gasoline. And it would also explain why the science patrol team is stationed outside of a gas station. It's yeah, so it's pretty, and it's funny too, because as terrible as the advertising side effects to the movie is, they're still pretty fun movies for what they are. But at the same time, yeah, after reading that little entry, that makes so much more sense. It's like it's like, what is it? If you were an alien from outer space watching Godzilla in 1985, you did your research on the Godzilla movies, on Earthling mythology, on Earthling military and the Cold War, and you'd be asking yourself, what the hell is up with all this Dr. Pepper?
It's the key there's something significant about the Dr. Pepper. It's a subliminal key, Raph. Have you ever seen, what was that documentary a few years back about Stephen King's The Shining, like Room something something?
I've heard of the documentary, but I've never seen it. Go ahead and spoil it.
Yeah. People look into that. People look into Godzilla '85 and the Dr. Pepper the same way they look into The Shining and the moon landing, Raph. It's significant somehow.
Right.
Roger Corman insisted on it being in there.
Wait a minute, Roger Corman didn't produce The Shining, and if he did, great job.
No, he produced the Godzilla '85. Is what I was.
Oh, right. Okay, I totally forgot. So. Yeah.
I insist on at least 5 instances of Dr. Pepper product placement about 30 minutes into the picture.
Also, we need a scene where the Shikaras, the giant sea louse, sexually assaults a woman.
Or a Japanese man. Take your pick. I'm freaky that way.
I'm just trying to find a way to send Godzilla home. Oh, I'm being raped by a giant sea louse.
Roger Corman's kind of the Orson Welles of crap, isn't he? Like he produces the highest of quality. Him and William Castle, the highest of quality of crap.
Well, I don't know. They are definitely kind of the B movie auteurs that have given us a lot of great things. But I wouldn't really compare them to Orson Welles, because unlike Orson Welles, they actually got their movies finished.
Roger Corman, especially Roger Corman, is like the king of getting it finished ahead of schedule with as little money as possible, never going over budget. And always making his budget back because he didn't spend anything.
Often reusing the same sets or other people's sets.
He's the thrifty filmmaker, Ralph.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Brendan Tennant said it best. It's like, he made Star Crash using the change in his couch. So, which is a little unfair to Star Crash when you consider how expensive that movie actually was. But I think that was more like Italian incompetence mixed with Hollywood ego. So
yeah, they made Star, quote unquote, Star Crash 2 with a spare change in a couch, I believe.
Oh yeah, no. Star Crash 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
and I thought mass shootings and YouTube's new system was going to be tonight's biggest tragedies, which they still are.
So yeah. Anyway, we go circling back to Kong somehow. You were trying to bring us back there?
No, it's just amazing how extremely serious they were taking that whole Kong thing seriously.
Yeah.
And I know, if you like Godzilla more than King Kong, more power to you. But it reminds me of the rest of the convention, and a lot of what is it, when Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, and there was a lot of articles and news about why isn't this film doing better, and it's and then you find out from the comment section, the overall talk, that a lot of diehard Godzilla fans did not go and support Kong Skull Island at all. They even buy it on DVD when it came out because it had quote unquote Kong in it. And that would be that's that would be like if football suddenly becomes extremely bankrupt to such a point that it needs to be saved, and there's only 2 teams left in existence. All you need to do is to save football as a commercial venture for 100 years forward, is to go see this one game. But every football fan in the world's like, no, I don't like either team. Fuck it. The future of your team is connected to this one game. Just go see this one game. Oh, ain't gonna see it. And then they cancel football completely. It's like, what happened? I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, I think you made a better analogy in one of our recent conversations.
Thank you. A better analogy. Keep going.
Yeah, you mentioned it'd be like if a Batman fan wouldn't go and see the new Justice League movie because Superman's in it. And they hate Superman.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And the Derek D man, he's gotten a lot of that in comments and I guess on Twitter, from what I gather. And he's got a thicker skin about it than I do, apparently. Because if I had to endure that from people saying you're wrong, debate me on it, bro.
Yeah,
my brain would leak out the side of my ears out of frustration.
Oh God, it's. I know I like to make the joke, like it's like these fanboys go so crazy with their brains literally fall out of their noses, but. Yeah, I think we would be the ones with our brains falling out because we just gave up at that point.
Well, I think what it is, and I don't mean to be mean here, but I kind of do because I think it's honestly the truth. With people like that who are that far gone, I think it's the fact that they're
gone, Brayton. There's no turning back.
I think it's literally just the fact that they have nothing but that going on in their life, so they have to latch onto that and treat it like it's so fucking important for everybody else to agree with them. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, speaking as an old man of the ancient age of 30, who saw the first pterodactyl make love to a prehistoric penguin giving birth to the modern day crow.
Jesus, that sounds messed up. Right?
Yeah, they don't tell you that in creationist school because they weren't there. I was. So plenty of unicorns gone that freaking.
You are the last dinosaur. Right?
You ding dong.
Yeah.
So no, like what? Oh God, I've been around since the early '80s. I know what it's like to have when you get into this genre and there's nothing coming in at all. Like there was especially in the '90s. Yeah, there was the Heisei Godzilla movie, but none of those movies came to America until 1998. So there was a big stretch from '89 when Biollante barely got released onto DVD and Cinemax to 1998. That's almost a full decade where there was nothing significant Godzilla related as far as movies went. Oh, there were toys from Trendmasters. There was the Odd Duck novel here and there. There was, no, in fact, the novels didn't even show up until '98. So forget that crap. There was the Dark Horse comic books here and there. But really nothing. And and old movies, that really doesn't mean much as far as new Godzilla content goes. So and I had a similar situation when Godzilla Final Wars ended, and both Peter Jackson's Kong and Godzilla Gamera the Brave both kind of were not exactly duds. Well, Gamera the Brave definitely, but didn't exactly kept the genre moving. So for the long time, we just had all those independent kaiju movies that nobody knew existed, and the ones they did know existed were mainly played for laughs, for better, Big Man Japan, and for worse, Death Kappa, both of which are discussed in Kevin Dorndorf's new book, Kaiju for Hipsters, 101 Alternatives for Giant Monsters.
Is it really called Kaiju for Hipsters?
Yes. See, Kaiju for Hipsters, 101 Alternative Giant Monster Movies. Now, it's a misleading title because people think this is like, oh, great, this is nothing but Cloverfield. But Cloverfield isn't here, but it's talking about all the giant monster movies people may know or may not know outside Godzilla, Gamera, and King Kong. So, but anyways, hold on, guys, damn it,
catch your breath, Ralph.
Catch my breath. Yeah, no, I know what it's like that. There's no kaiju stuff coming in at all. It's like these young kids were crying about Kong versus Godzilla and not happy about. It's like, for crying out loud, dude. I had an entire decade where nothing significant was coming in. It's like it was a minor miracle we got Gamera Guardian of the Universe in 1995. Even though I didn't get my VHS tape until way into 1996. So I had to go down to a library in Gardena to the Japanese video section just to see an early version of the Gamera movie, and it was all in Japanese. But it was still a great find. But yeah, it's like, guys, calm down. And not only that, but it amazes me. Like, what is it? 2018 was a great year for giant monster entertainment. Try telling that to a diehard Godzilla. I don't want to call them a completionist, but like, what would be a narrow-minded
fanatic?
Yeah.
Like someone beyond. Like when you're a fanboy or a fanatic, you're beyond being a fan of something. You're consumed by it, like almost obsessively, to the point of hearing no reason.
Yeah. Exactly.
And especially it's that not only that we have so many new things coming out, But most of the people who are yelling at D-Man about that's my impression of the Godzilla fan base. Most of the people
actually, they're more like
they're like people who are my age, younger, or 20-somethings, and we live in a day and age where all of this shit is as accessible as it's ever been in history. You can Google things on the internet and find and buy things just like with a click of a button. Why are you so narrow-minded?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like what is it? It is not the best DVD set coming out. But for the first time ever, we're having all the Showa movies come out in one singular set. Yeah. And it's like, that's especially good news for somebody who does not have a Godzilla movie but wants to get into like the classic films of this. And yet you have these fans who are like, their whole world circles around like one or two movies. Like last year we had Rampage, we had The Meg, we had SSS Gridman. We had all these great giant.
We had Mechagodzilla and Ready Player One and Kong also.
Yeah, and as well as the Godzilla anime trilogy for better or worse. But we had so many giant monster stuff going on last year, and then it's like to go to G-Fest and find out, oh no, I don't know, I just saw the guy. I didn't see any of that stuff. It's I didn't even know it existed. What's Kong Skull Island? Holy crap! You know how good 2018 was for a real giant monster fan with a larger palette to their tastes, much like our good friend Kevin Dorndorf, author of Kaiju for Hipsters. The first episode of our Mystery Science Theater fan trilogy came out towards the end of 2008. 2018.
I was 9 years old when I made that map. The guy should be getting some praise.
Yeah, that was a great man. That was like a life-size man suit you're wearing. We didn't even know you were.
No, I've just been very tall and lanky all my life.
Right. That's a big baby.
I've been long all my life.
Yeah, you're like the larvae version of the Slender Man.
Yeah.
Or should I say the Splendor Man, my friend?
I like to consider myself full of splendor. That works. Or Splenda.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's the same people who will be like, no, I didn't see that. I'm fine with that because I like this stuff, but as far as just giant monster things go, I don't have like the biggest palette in the world to the point where I think I need to see everything. But not like
this son of a bitch right here.
At that same time, though, people who are like me who are just like, I'll see what I want to see, But they'll also be like, oh, fuck you, you're wrong. It'll be like that same. They were just a bunch of weirdos, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like very narrow-minded, narrow-palated, very obsessive weirdos.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way either.
Well, they're obsessive and they're possessive at the same time because they're very obsessive about what they're possessive over.
Yeah.
Because they take these things so personally and so seriously.
Now, to be fair, it is easy to be easily flustered when somebody attacks or criticizes your interests. So it's like, I love Godzilla movies. But at the same time, I can have a little bit of humor about it. But at the same time, if I met somebody who just goes like, oh, this is shit, this is crap. Why can't all the Chinese who make these movies just kamikaze themselves? Yeah, then it gets a little disheartening.
Yeah. I haven't run into a lot of those people. And I think just at a certain point, though, you just kind of have to grow a set of balls about it and just be like, fuck you. I like what I like. I'm sure you like, staring at rocks all day. That's fine. Do your own thing. You just have to not be able to care at some point.
Yeah,
and these people are like, again, not to be mean, but a lot of the people who are so ignorantly narrow-minded, this is all they have going for them. Like they probably don't have social lives. They probably don't watch any other movies except these. And so when somebody has a differing opinion on this topic that they hold so dearly, they freak out about it.
Oh my God. What you just said reminded me of something from this book I'm holding, Kaiju for Hipsters. on page 400,
available everywhere.
Yes. On page 407, the last chapter, Godzilla and Gamera movies for hipsters. I just have to read this little section. When I first mentioned this project to my circle of online fellow kaiju enthusiasts, I was quickly met with apprehension. To paraphrase, kaiju fans are primarily concerned with Godzilla. Godzilla is the end-all be-all of interests of many. If this book does not talk about Godzilla, nobody will pick it up.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, this last chapter is about like bizarre alternate cuts of Godzilla movies, including a quick shout out to Mystery Science Theater.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's nice to know that even, and I like, I'm obsessed for giant monsters. I'm like a cockatoo who's doped up on crack when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible analogy, but I couldn't think of anything better.
Yeah.
I'm cuckoo for kaiju puffs.
There you go.
Yeah, but no, it just disheartened me. There's all these great giant monster movies. Like I think Rampage it's silly, but it's a very good kind of old style giant monster action flick. And most people are gonna go see it because it doesn't look like a Godzilla movie. That's like, like you said earlier, it's like people who don't like. I understand if you're not a Batman, if you're not a Superman fan, but to completely ignore like everything in the DC.
Yeah, it's one thing it's one thing to be just not interested in something, and that's why you don't see it.
Uh-huh.
It's another thing to be like aggressively so. To be like, I didn't watch the anime Godzilla movies because one, I wasn't interested, and two, I don't like anime, so I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
For those reasons and those alone, I didn't aggressively state on Facebook, I refuse on principle to watch these travesties, because then, like, you obviously care about this thing so much to be like a dickhead about it.
Uh-huh.
If you're not going to see something because you're not interested, just say that and leave it alone. Don't be like a jerk about it.
Yeah, not only that, but let's face it, Godzilla fans are like the luckiest bastards in the world. Like, like this movie, wait a year, you get a new one.
Yeah, there's so many of these things. Yeah.
It's like in a, like, what is it?
It's kind of like with any long running, like a James Bond movie. I didn't care for this James Bond movie. Wait a few years, you'll find one that you like. There's so many. Or like go back and watch one that you like.
Yeah,
there's such a big pot to choose from there.
Yeah, and like, what is it? If this is a perfect world for kaiju fans right now, because Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, didn't do too hot.
So it didn't make its 400 million route.
Oh no, it's at 386 million. Just 14 more million to go before it's completely out of theaters.
Isn't it completely out of theaters?
Not there. Apparently, there's still
it is completely out of theaters. I can't believe people are still showing it.
There's still some stragglers until the movie makes an official DVD debut later this month. So,
okay.
Although apparently the movie is now on digital, but I don't download digital. Yeah, at least not officially. Wink, wink. Riddle me this, copyright. Many jokes. But yeah, it's like
the Google Drive guy survives.
Yeah, but no, Godzilla King of the Monsters didn't do hot in theaters, but we're still getting Godzilla versus King Kong next year.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah, but at the same time, people are pissed off about it because they didn't like the last movie, and King Kong's in the next movie. And it's like, and like I told everybody, like I've had so many kaiju movies these last like 3 years that have decided to end the genre with Godzilla vs. King Kong. I'd be okay with it. For once, I was happy. And then Toho and Tuburai Productions announces Shin Ultraman. And it's like, God damn it!
And that's a live action thing, right?
Yes, it's a live action thing. The people behind Shin Godzilla are teaming up to do an Ultraman movie.
Oh, good. I'm glad they're gonna fuck up something I don't care about. so I won't get as angry about that then, because I don't care about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You didn't like Shin Godzilla, but you were more than happy to revisit one of the Godzilla movies you liked, and Godzilla King of the Monsters, the recent one. It's kind of grown on you. It's in a weird way. It's like your relationship with that movie is kind of like how I felt about Final Wars when I first saw it.
I don't know. It's a weird thing where I think I've just gotten used to it at this point, where it doesn't bother me really.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I was into it upon like my initial viewings, I was into the movie well enough, like up until the ending of the first battle in Antarctica or whatever. I thought that was really cool, and I was with the movie until then. After that, it was a very slippery slope of disappointment. But going back and rewatching it, each time I watch it, I'm more and more fine with it. So I'm sure in my lifetime, I'll come around to actually liking it quite a bit.
I don't think it will take that long. Plus,
because I'm at the point of like everything. I'm especially with the kind of fan that I am, who likes the more whimsical, lighthearted stuff, as opposed to everything has to be a nuclear allegory about the death and tribulations of the millions of souls in Japan, and no, it's serious, and no, allegorical. Yeah, I like that too, but it's nice to just. it's nice to be happy at the end
Yeah.
of a movie sometime rather than to say, oh, all is hopeless. I want to slit my wrists now.
I know, and
It's nice to have a few, Megalons or Mechagodzillas thrown in there in
Yeah.
the bunch. It's okay.
yeah, how fortunate? Like, what is it? Like, okay, first off, Godzilla fans have it made because we have so much to choose from. But thankfully, unlike Batman fans or anime fans, it's still kind of condensed enough for us to get a handle over it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's been animated movies, there's been comic book spin-offs, there's been obscure novels in Japan.
There's surprisingly a lot of variety in the films too. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at them on the surface, there's a surprising amount of variety in that. Yeah, every movie you know that a new monster is going to show up and Godzilla's going to show up and he's going to kill the monster and yay. But every movie is also so different in its own unique way that there's kind of one in there for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And even if it does feel familiar, there's enough twists in there that enjoy and appreciate. And of course, we're monster movie fans, so we are more open to this kind of bombastic silliness than most regular horror or regular moviegoers would go. Because I know it's funny, you're either with the monster, you're against it. If you are or not a monster movie fan, I think that's why Godzilla gets such a hard time. Whereas zombie movies, which are just basically humans versus human horde films, no different than say Zulu or a Lawrence of Arabia or Birth of a Nation. Unfortunately, I can't think of any other movies that are similar. Whereas Godzilla movies, they are imaginative, bombastic, but it's great too. And that's what I love about these movies. And like you said, we got the great thing is we got so much Godzilla to choose from, but it's still condensed. This isn't like Superman or One Piece where we have a billion issues and episodes we got to watch. Yeah. It's still coherent enough that we can, pick and choose what we like and don't like, or visit and revisit, I should say. And and I love that we have the very first Godzilla movie, which, as Steven Spielberg once noted, is the best dinosaur movie ever made. Thank you, Steven. Sorry, I doubted you. But then we also have Godzilla vs. Megalon, which is a fun movie with a bunch of fun human and monster characters I like a lot. So it's and I know a lot of diehard Godzilla fans can't stand the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoon, but I love that, especially all its guest monsters. Really colorful, creatures inspired by reruns of In Search of. So I'm happy to be a Godzilla fan because I'm very fortunate to be a Godzilla fan. But it is disheartening when I think I'm more offended by the extreme fanboys who treat this stuff way too much religiously these days, at least, than to the casual naysayer. I will say,
because some people, and you can't fault, because it's really, you're the dick if you fault them for this. There's some people out there who it's just not their thing. It's just not, kind of like what I am with Super Sentai, Power Ranger stuff, and anime and whatnot. I'm fine with people, no disrespect to anybody who likes it. It's just not, I'm just not into it, is why I don't watch it. Kind of like basketball, same with watching basketball or watching some other romantic movies. It's just not my thing, but it's made for an audience who likes it, so let them like what they like, let people don't like what they don't like. Just nobody try and hurt each other's feelings over this stuff, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
We got religion and politics for that bullshit.
That's right. That's what we go to war over, not Godzilla movies.
Actually, we go to war for money, but that's a different matter.
It's I just don't, because the internet is eating itself. I was going to make her eating itself out, but it's kind of just collapsing in on itself with fan bases, because it's bringing all these people together, but at the same time, it's bringing all the jerks to the forefront.
Yeah, and it really is the mythical Ouroboros of reactionary emotion is the best way I can describe the internet. The Ouroboros, I'm probably saying the name wrong, but that's that classic snake symbol you see in medieval mythology of a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah, you are saying it wrong, but I don't know what the correct pronunciation is, so I'm not going to correct you.
Huzzah! I barely win! Hooray for me! Anyways, but that's the best way I can describe it. And not only that, but the internet anonymity the internet affords, and also the fact that newer generations or just people in general are becoming kind of worse and worse. It allows a lot more assholes to be online. It's there's whenever there's a school shooting, there's always the one guy who complains about something else just to be a troll. You know, he doesn't really give a shit about the circumstances behind anything going on. He just wants to upset a bunch of so-called SJWs. And by the way, that was another thing I want to talk about. Like, the fuck, like, we'll get to like, anyways. But here's the last thing I want to say about Godzilla, the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong movie. You know, to quote my late grandfather Juan Pacheco, whenever he was constantly bothered,
The lost marked brother.
yes, he disappeared with Harpo in the desert with Iga. Get that reference. Okay, to quote my late grandfather Juan Pacheco from my mother's side of the family, whenever he would be bothered by like younger sports fans in and out of his family about, oh, who you think's going to win the big game or who you think's going to win the next boxing match, he would always go like, boy, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who wins. I just want to see a good fight.
Well, that's the thing. You just have to think of it. Doesn't matter. You have no control over it.
Uh-huh.
So why do people care? Why do you care? I don't understand why people care to that extreme to want to make it so personal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, just give me a fun movie that delivers on the action sequence, especially after revisiting the original King Kong versus Godzilla on the big screen. It leaves a little to be desired. Yeah, Coconut Bra is not counting. It's like, like King Kong's gonna. Yeah, I know you're big lady, but it's King Kong.
Remember that person who just like chanting like in the background,
the old guy. So
shut up, Grandpa.
No, you go to Pharaoh. You get.
You go back the wrong place.
Wrong time.
All right, I smile.
Wow, what authentic native languages. So.
The sad part is I believe that those weren't people in blackface when I was a little kid. I thought they just were really, dark Japanese people, from Islanders. I believed it, Raph.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. As a little kid, like I saw a bunch of I saw Mothra versus Godzilla, the 1964 one, long before I saw King Kong versus Godzilla. So I just assumed that, they were playing like Japanese playing natives were just trying to do Polynesians or Hawaiian type people. But then when you see Gappa or King Kong, the original King Kong versus Godzilla, and wow, those natives are suspiciously brownish color.
Yeah. Or the people or the background extras in Gamera versus Jiger.
Oh yeah, that's your little observation there was hilarious. But it's like I know they probably didn't do it out of a place of malice, but at the same time, it does not age well at all. So.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but it's like I had the opportunity to see King Kong versus Godzilla on the big screen way back in June at the Vesta Theater. In fact, the Vesta Theater this coming Sunday, they're showing Godzilla versus King Ghidorah on the big screen on Sunday morning. I'm contemplating whether I should go down there and check it out or not. But no, seeing the movie and this was the American version, seeing it on the big screen. It's like I like the Japanese version, King Kong versus Godzilla, so maybe it's because I was watching the American dub version that kind of threw me for a loop. But at the same time,
oh wow,
yeah. But with that said, King Kong.
I'm kind of the opposite. Yeah, I've seen the American version. Like 90% of the times I've seen that movie has been the American version. I think I've only seen the Japanese all the way through twice.
Oh my god.
So that throws me for a loop. All the weird, or not, I shouldn't even say weird because it's the original version. Like the fact that Eric Carter is not there, and the fact that the guy is a drummer, and the globe that we see at the beginning is just a prop in the Japanese version.
Oh yeah, the big joke. It's like, what if suddenly the Earth stopped? These are one of the many questions asked on Arthur C. Clarke's Japanese Wacky World. But first, a word from our sponsors. So I adore the Japanese version of Godzilla vs. King Kong because it is an intelligent satire. It is a cool little kaiju comedy. It's well done in that regard. But it's like the American version plays it a little too straight and serious. And I'd be like, if you took the comedy movie Airplane, which was a spoof of Airport something of
it was was it 0 Hour or something like that?
No, I think you're right. 0 Hour. If you took the movie Airplane, which was a spoof of 0 Hour, and then re-edited it to be a 80s remake of 0 Hour, that's how I kind of feel about the American version of Godzilla vs. King Kong. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of like shoddy like scenes, like it's like this book about dinosaurs. Actually, I'll let you take that away because you do a really good impression of it.
Yeah, I was brought along from Crackpot University to talk about these suspicious monsters. So here we have, I think that's what do they call that? A Dinosaurus there with the little frills on the back, and kind of Godzilla's kind of a cross between him and this one. I don't know. I grabbed this from my daughter's backpack before I sent her off this morning. But naturally, throughout history, a giant fucking dinosaur and a giant monkey are natural born enemies, and they'll be destined to destroy one another. Who let this man into the studio?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but yeah, it's like rewatching the American version of King Kong versus Godzilla on the big screen at the Vesta Theater. Like, there's a lot of things you don't realize. Like, first off, yeah, those new American scenes are pretty hokey and unintentionally funny. It's like, first off, that's like the worst newsroom I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, it's just like what is it? It's just like a blue wall with a map in the background or something.
Yeah, it's like a very simple map, like something you could buy from like a corner street store for road instructions.
Yeah,
and then it's like it's like you have to
it looks like an Ed Wood set. It's pretty unbelievable.
Above average Ed Wood set.
Yeah, you can't see like the seams in the wall.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like like you said, the acting isn't bad, but at the same time, the circumstances behind the acting betrays the acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Kong is a thinking animal, as opposed to Godzilla and this marble. I like to touch marbles.
All right there, Doctor Crackpot. We'll just take your marbles. No.
It's my marbles. Mine.
Cut back to the random Japanese guy over here in Hokkaido.
I know, and it's unintentionally funny with some of the bad editing choices. It's like,
it's a horribly edited movie.
Yeah. It's like, you need to go to Hokkaido. Your husband might be okay. Do not go to Hokkaido.
Maybe I thought that was funny. I thought that worked.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that was deliberate or just like kind of like just a faux pas on the original American side of the movie.
I like to think that was a funny edit gag, which I do like that. But but no, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the Japanese version again because I haven't seen it more than 2 times all the way through.
Okay, well, if you find a version readily available online, let me know. I'd love to join you.
Okay, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, but no.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, it's not just that though, but the Japanese scenes. Like, okay, I don't know. I saw King Kong versus Godzilla on the big screen before at the Egyptian Theater, and I was generally impressed with the special effects. The model work is really good. You notice all the wonderful detail. But then seeing it again, and I don't know if it was the same print for several years ago or because I was sitting a lot closer on a relatively smaller screen, despite the fact that the Vesta Theater is still a really cool little theater. Just the special effects just came out a lot more shoddy. Like the model effects were good, but then you notice you can see the literal edge of the model ocean of the pool water hitting and wetting the sky, the sky painting in the background. It's like, oh my god! And what is it? Toho has something called the Big Pool, which is this gigantic pool they use for outdoor ocean sequences for both movies that involve special effects and also just like regular beach movies.
Well, they used to use.
Yeah, they used to use. And usually they film the big pool beautifully. It really does look like you're in the middle of the ocean. But here it's like, oh my god, I'm literally seeing waves hit the fucking big. I can see the seams in the sky and the big waves hitting the sky. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you just imagine Kong at the end of it, just to like recreate the ending of the Truman Show. He just walks through the background.
Thank you.
I don't see it. If I don't see it, Godzilla.
Thank you. That's how it feels like. It feels like that final scene where King Kong is swimming back to his home island.
All right, that's far enough, Kong. That's far. No, we hit the backdrop.
Yeah, you feel like any second now he's gonna hit the backdrop. Your shadow's gonna appear, and it's all gonna fall on top of the poor actor as he drowns.
And at the end. Yeah.
Oh, what a screwy movie that was.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Bugs. Now we know to love and laugh again. Anyways. But yeah, it's just the special effects are a lot more shoddy than I realized, especially the train car sequence. Like the model set around the train car is great. The train car looks great, but then the little shadows or silhouettes they put in the train, It's like
Oh yeah,
yeah,
It's just like still people.
yeah, and so much so that like obviously Notzilla, the recent Godzilla spoof they premiered at G-Fest, knew exactly what it was doing with its own train sequence.
Yeah,
It's like they must have saw that.
yeah. It was like Mr. Rogers level of special effects. I know what you're talking
Yeah, exactly. It's all right. So
it's trolley.
yeah, it's a trolley with like sticker people in the windows. It's like yeah, it's like I was surprised. Like I've seen King Kong versus Godzilla plenty times before on the big screen and small screen, but it just seemed like I don't know, maybe I'm so old at this point I'm actually noticing details I never seen before. And King Kong versus Godzilla doesn't really hold up, unfortunately. So and that monkey, oh god, the Kong suit. Boy.
I think the suit, like it looks terrible. But I think there are times where it looks legitimately scary, like when it looks like Kong has no pupils almost, and he's just like this grotesque looking. He looks kind of like the Bigfoot in The Man Who Killed Hitler and then Bigfoot at times. But yeah, some of the like they use, I think, is what really kills me. The close-up Kong puppet.
Yeah, that is with like the flittering eyeballs.
Yeah, yeah, the flittering eyeball puppet, and then. The stop motion puppets are kind of, I don't know, you don't really get a good enough look at them to really tell. The Godzilla one looks pretty bad, but
yeah, no, that's absolutely true. So, oh my
weird movie.
Yeah, they're all weirdies.
Yeah,
it's like what the old saying I made up years ago. Normal are just varying degrees of acceptable weirdness, but this would be the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah. Anyways, slow work on the Plesiotrus as usual. So, yeah, I'm.
Is that the thing you're working on there?
Yeah, that's the Plesiotrus. I was explaining it earlier, and there's a star field that's supposed to go behind it, but I can't incorporate the star field until I get the main lines correct. So that way I can erase it. Thankfully, I saved this as another file, so you can use this for yourself in the future.
Okay.
All right, and I found two.
To pretend that I am in space.
Go ahead. So, space, Brayton, flying through the cosmos, breathing in the void when there's nothing to breathe.
Don't you know?
How the hell does this work? How the hell does it work? There's some plot holes going here.
I will go to the one place that has not been corrupted by capitalism. Space. Tim Curry.
Oh my god. I hope Tim Curry gets better. So
yeah.
But no, I found these old color tests I did on Bitmap or Paintbrush, and of the Plesiotrus's color, and we got the alternative of like a black and yellowish creature. Because the Plesiotrus, despite being a living creature, is not made of biological elements. He's like physical or solidified plasma, like fire, radiation energy in a living creature type form. It's a weird Lovecraft type, not science fiction weirdness. There was also this more colorful alternative, but this looks a little pathetic compared to the much more opposing. No, I know no pixels were selected, as opposed to the more opposing yellow and black motif going on here. So yeah, but at the same time, I have a habit of doing too many characters that are yellow and black because I think it's just a great color scheme.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what to do there, and I'm spending too much time trying to do the details, like try to get the line work on these tendrils correct. So I think I'm going to cheat it and get rid of 2 of these tendrils right here, right now.
Okay. How many does it have?
5.
All right.
Should I keep an even number, you think?
Do whatever looks most aesthetically pleasing.
I'll just do 5. It's a weird space creature. I can get away with an uneven number.
Yeah.
Besides, I figure these are the equivalent of whiskers or hairs, but they're more expendable like hairs, meaning they don't really need to follow a major pattern. And also, I just don't want to be spending another hour clean up tendrils. So, be gone, unappealing extra tentacles. Be gone. Yay!
You have all this power in your hands, right?
I know.
To wipe them away.
This is what God must feel like when he spends his nights alone talking to a Canadian about Godzilla movies.
No, Now I know what it feels like to be God.
Get a hold of yourself, man, before we're censored by the Hays Code. Ah! So actually, I can cheat. I can put like one tentacle. I can copy one of these tentacles and put it behind the others. So that way, it will look like there's 6 tentacles.
Aren't you glad that we don't have tentacles, Raph?
Kind of, yeah. It's like I really don't see what human beings could do well with a tentacle other than, I don't know, shoplift more effectively.
Seems incredibly complicated.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy we just got 2 arms. Although 4 arms would be cool. If you lose an arm, you're okay.
Yeah, but imagine like how awkward, like how would you sit like after that? How would you put your hands or your arms when you're standing or like sitting? It would feel weird, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I don't want to imagine a world where human beings have 4 arms and gigantic hips to rest all their hands.
Ugh.
Oh my god. So okay. Anyways, so another thing that's kind of got on my nerves recently, outside the whole D-Man being persecuted by the
That's gotten online. Justice for D-Man.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so ironic too.
So just cut to the witch burning scene from Monty Python. Well, are you sure she's a witch? Did you dress her? Oh, we dressed her up like this, but
yeah, I hope that girl got out okay. Knowing
I don't think so, Raph. Because she weighed the same weight as, what was it, a duck or a chicken or something? What did they weigh her against?
I know, but knowing Monty Python, it could end either way. It's like
I don't think they're one for cutting out on the unnecessary death sequences, Raph.
That is true.
Especially in that movie. That poor what was he, a professor or something?
Yeah,
that just got butchered.
He was just doing his job, and he got killed by one of the extras. And everybody went. Although again, it does lead to one of the great anticlimaxes in cinema history, where everyone gets arrested.
Yeah.
So, can you tell we're nerds, audience? None of you.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, something that's also kind of annoyed me recently, the overuse of the word SJW. It's like, oh my god. It's like, is it just me, or when like whenever somebody's science fiction hobby or video game playing skills is slightly questioned in the slightest by a female, all of a sudden they start screaming the word SJW like medieval peasants to a person they accuse of being a witch. It's like it's ridiculous, because it's like nobody does review or analysis videos anymore with it's like, is Goblin Slayer problematic? Do you think they should have the conversation should be like, do you think it was in slightly poor taste to start off an episode with a bunch of goblins raping a poor woman to death? It's like, that's a decent question to have. Yeah, you're probably. This is an anime, by the way, if you're wondering what the fuck Goblin Slayer is.
That's my impression of how most animes start, right?
With goblins doing horrible things onto women.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the conversation, like even if the conversation is very like, straight to the point and reason minded, do you think it's kind of in bad taste to start off with, fatalistic sexual assault involving, evil goblins, but instead it's like, oh, you're just an SJW, how dare you question this? Or it's like, it's like, what is it? Captain Marvel is not that good of a movie. It's a serviceable distraction. But it's not the end all be all of the apocalypse.
It's an airplane ride movie.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Something you just put on and not really pay kind of like a 40% attention to.
Yeah. And I've seen worse examples of like feminist mind of what's a good terminology?
Extreme feminists?
No, not extreme feminists.
Fascist feminism?
No, stop it. Now you're 2 clicks away from saying SJW. No, pandering, like progressive pandering. I see in Hollywood movies, like, oh, everybody loves lesbians now. Let's put some lesbians in our movie. Yeah, it's like, but I've seen way worse examples of that. Like, there's been plenty of like, I don't know, comedies and cartoon shows that do it in much more extreme examples. And no, not Steven Universe. Yes, they definitely made it a lot more pronounced, but I've seen worse examples of it elsewhere. It's like. It's like, I love She-Ra, the Princess of Powers, but can we have like, does every couple or parent on this planet have to be like same-sex marriages? Can we have a little variety? How are people reproducing in this world? I'm just saying, guys. but there's even worse examples. There's probably like really crappy independent video games made by people who are, I don't want to use the terminology SJW, but people who are those kind of like unimaginative pandering sorts. But like Captain Marvel was not the end all be all of the movie. It was just kind of a run of the mill airplane watch, like you said, and yet people accuse it as the apocalyptic beginning and ending of Hollywood. And it's for like real men's entertainment, and it's like ugh, guys, come on. So it's like I can't take anybody seriously anymore who starts off their video saying it's like, well, gun violence are in the media. You know who to blame? SJWs. So social justice warriors, and also, so there's some liberals out there who are a little conscious about making the world a better place. How is that worse than the psychopath who goes on a mass murder spree? How is that worse than the politicians, Democrats and Republicans alike, who are going to screw over your future to such a point that it doesn't matter if you love your video games or not? They're going to be too expensive for you to have, let alone buy food. How is the theoretical social justice warrior worse than bigger villains in real life because they question the ethics of a video game or an anime you're watching?
I don't think it's something you can really compare, because I think that's a little stretching it a little bit. Like, it's, how can you compare this thing, which is very annoying, to this big thing, this horrible thing?
I know, but
you can't really compare the two.
You do bring up a good point. You do bring up a good point. But that's
kind, because it's kind of like not a. It's like an unbalanced comparison. Like, how could you compare, people who bitch and moan at you for liking one Godzilla movie and not another to neo-Nazis rioting on the street? We can't really compare the two.
Yeah, but
I think
I'm not doing the comparison. I'm just like, this is what the reactions of all these people online are. The people go out of their way to like, oh, this comic book feels like it was written by the SJWs. It's like they're acting like it's the end all be all of evil in the world, when there's like just more important things to be worried about than a really crappy feminist-minded comic book or movie in the case of Captain Marvel. So,
well, here's my feeling on it.
Okay,
I think, especially in the internet, everyone has their own agenda. Like, everybody, no matter what side you're on, you're only going to see your side of the issue. Mm-hmm. So if someone is like very, anti-progressive, very conservative, they got their head up their butt, they're only going to see things from their point of view of, oh, this is harmless, us calling us people SJWs and whatnot. They're the real harms in the world. Uh-huh. While the people on the other side are going to be the exact opposite, to where, calling out people, for being, sexist and misogynistic and racist, that's harmless because we're bringing things to, they're the ones who should be apologizing. I think everybody's almost got their own agenda, and it's those people who take it to the extreme on both sides that, yeah, it's harmless, but it's almost not harmless when like that grows and has actual repercussions on people's lives out in the world and whatnot. And because I think I've just, in our private conversation, I'm a very liberal person, and I try to look at this even-headedly, if that's a term. I don't know, even-handedly maybe.
I think no. What's it? Balanced? No, not balanced. Even-handed, or I don't know. I know what you're getting at, but I can't think of it myself.
I have my very own views on these things that that are obvious to me, but I'm able to look outside it to understand that there are a lot of people out there who just almost seem to get off on being offended and calling people out for offending them, and like that weird group mentality of call out culture and expose culture to like, I don't agree with the term SJW because, again, I think it's been misused and it's stupid. Yeah. And a lot of times, more often than not, it's just used by somebody who, on the other side, does get offended by other people getting offended. It just becomes a weird snake-eating spiral of offended people.
Yeah,
on both sides.
Yeah, not only that, but to me, SJW is the equivalent of somebody saying, "A fairy crawled up my butt and caused me to have cancer." It's that level of like simplistic ignorance and stupidity. Yeah.
I'm a very liberal person. I don't like that term, but I acknowledge that there are people who fit the description of that term that are out there and are very annoying. I guess I would just have a different view on it. Like, if I was somebody who was in the public eye and was targeted by either side of that aisle of people, either the people who, the quote unquote SJW crowd or the offended cult, who I said something in the past, and then they latch onto this out of context thing that I said 4 years ago, and want to wreck my entire life and like dox me and all this stuff because of some stupid joke I made when I was 17.
Yeah.
I hate those kind of people, and I also hate the kind of people who are like, do not allow any progress to be made in entertainment.
Yeah.
So I hate everybody. I hate both of those people.
No, you actually do bring up a better point. I unfortunately, as much as I love intellectualism, I myself can't make a very good point, especially on the fly. I'm a little too emotional, and my vocabulary is very limited. So I'm glad you shined a better spotlight on the problem than I did. At the same time, though, you're right. There is a lot of agenda bullshit going on and a lot of ignorance of who started what. Because, like, what is it? A lot of people online were upset at the fact that James Gunn was, for a little while, looked like he was kicked off of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
Because they assumed it was an SJW who got him in trouble. No, it was a diehard, bordering on white supremacist, conservative radio show host that brought up all these older jokes that James Gunn, even though they were offensive, he probably shouldn't have made them. He apologized and made up for ages ago. So, so sometimes, and that's another thing I hate about, like, that's what I was trying to get at earlier. People are so blinded by what they think the enemy are, they don't see the real enemy. So sometimes a destructive SJW is no better than a destructive conservative who will ruin a good person's life just based on minor hearsay and all that. But it's like, what is it? It's like a rich white robber baron fires all his workers to hire a bunch of like much cheaper illegal immigrants. But instead of the fired people getting angry at the guy who did the firing just to save money, they take it on the immigrants. It's like, you're missing the forest for the trees there. And that's another reason I can't stand the SJW thing. Like, what is it? Like, I was trying to watch a video about why this particular anime character is evil, and they brought up a controversial part of her character, which is now that in context, it's not that big of a deal. The character, by the way, is Mine from Shield Hero, who's an evil, pathological liar who, in the first episode, accuses our titular hero of sexually assaulting her. In context, it makes sense because she herself is just an extreme liar, a horrible person. Although the fact that they start the first episode off with that lie, it does feel a little bit like ill-advised shock value, I think is the best way to describe it. So, and it's like, I would agree on that. But instead the video started as like, oh, this controversy that would trigger the SJWs. It's like, no, it's a pretty harsh circumstance, regardless if there were SJWs or not. That's why I think a lot of people were taken aback, especially, it's like, in the context of the story, it works good, and it is a generally good series. But at the same time, that's kind of a harsh jump to do in your first episode. So that's why a lot of people were more upset. But instead, you're blaming these mythical SJWs that flew up your butt and gave you witch cancer.
I think it's all just a matter of mileage varying, circumstances, how it applies to whatever circumstance, and that it's just a buzzword. It's an easy buzzword, much like racist is, to throw around online. Yeah. Where like it's just such it's an easy to type umbrella term that people with no vocabulary, logical faculties can just throw out there. Just call someone a racist or call someone an SJW, and there you go. It's problem solved. You're happy, and you're a dick.
Yeah, and you are absolutely right. A lot of this is, I think that's what really pisses me off about words like SJW and trigger. They're just buzzwords used by people who only speak in current slang. It's like, the people who, like, instead of saying, "Oh, what a beautiful diamond," they say "bling." It's like. Yeah, I know bling might be shorthand.
I just think it's weird because people use things like racist and SJW so much that you use it so much that it loses its meaning when you apply it to everything. Like you can't just call everybody an SJW or everybody a racist because it doesn't work like that.
Right.
Because when you apply it to everything, the word or the term completely loses its meaning. And if everybody is, then nobody is, because you've used it on everybody now.
Yeah, that's like a good example. It's like, oh, I want to do a superhero story where Wonder Woman and Batman team up to fight an alien invasion. Wait, what did you say? Batman and Wonder Woman team up to fight an alien invasion. Brain and Bronze, and we can save Superman for the third part. So you're gonna put a woman in it? It's Wonder Woman, and Batman and her are friends. It's like, you're an SJW for wanting to make this a feminist movie where Wonder Woman outmatches Batman. No, they're working together. Fuck you, SJW. It's like you hear that kind of argument all the time, like at my local comic shop, which is one of the reasons I don't go there often.
Yeah, I think all it boils down to the term of the under the circumstances and what side of the aisle you're coming at this from. Because the people who even claim to be the most open-mindedness, subliminally they may be, and they may be able to look at things differently, but almost in the back of your brain, you can't help it. You do have a bias depending on what side of things you fall on.
Yeah.
So you're only going to see things from that point of view.
Yeah.
And I'm a very liberal person, but I also have, some conservative beliefs as well. I'm in the middle of sanity where I can kind of look at both things and say, this I can understand. I try to look at an issue not from my own, not from my own point of view, but from the whole picture sometimes.
Yes.
So, I think terms like that, SJW, is just a thing that's caught on, and people use it because it's easy to type, and people can just apply it to everything. I think that's just, at the end of the day, that's all it is.
Yeah, and that is, and I was going to say the part about you wrestling with your own biases, that is so hard to do, even for generally good people. Like, for example, I'm not going to go into detail, especially live, regardless how late we are or not, but I've had my own traumatic experiences with teenagers, fully well about this. It's like I had my life threatened by them in more ways than one. But I have to keep myself calm and realize that there's a lot of good teenagers out there with good heads on their shoulders, and I'm reminded of that every day. Like a couple of days ago, I was doing some lawn work. I was in the sidewalk, and a kid on a bicycle came booming through around the corner. He stopped his bicycle just enough to pass by me slowly. But at the moment, I was so upset and angered that I think I called him an idiot under my breath. And I hope he didn't hear me, because in retrospect, he slowed down because he saw me and he was trying to do the right thing. Whereas other teenagers I've had experiences in the past, they'll just run right through you and injure your back. It's like, or brush up so hard against your shoulder, you're practically done for the day as far as doing work. So so much so that I was hoping that kid would come back sort of apologize in person if he overheard me. But you have to fight your own personal prejudices and biases.
Well, because then you're not, when you do that, you're no better than people who are bigots or prejudiced. And the people who say, well, I'm not saying they're all that bad, I'm just talking from my own personal experiences, you're no better than those type of people. You have to have an open mind about this stuff.
And if you let your biases and prejudices overtake you, it blinds you to the real problem. Like, again, people who got fired from their job because the white Robin Baron hired a bunch of illegal immigrants. They should be more upset at the guy who's responsible for bringing them in than the actual immigrants themselves. Or like a science fiction story where it's aliens invade the earth and kill off most of mankind, and the survivors who's to blame? The Jews. We got to get them. It's like, okay, they're extinct, and why are you too afraid to take on the alien invaders? Yes. So
I think that's just what ignores me about people who are just vehemently anti cop or anti any anti-race, anti-sexual orientation, anybody who's just trying to do the right thing in the world and mind their own business. And these people who are they apply that, all of them are this way, because of their own stupid little dumbass experiences with the two people of whatever that they have in their little neighborhood.
And sometimes it's not even experience. Sometimes it's something as sad as just the way they were raised. Or even worse, they're just assholes using racism as an excuse to be an asshole. So it's like if the world was just filled with clones of those particular people, they would still find a reason to start some shit up the next day. So, and it's funny too, because it's there's some family members of mine who I discommunicated, but I in the last couple of years I've reconnected with,
And they're actually very decent people. They're just doing their best to wrestle with the fact that they've been raised under less than ideal circumstances with even worse people. So they have to kind of take themselves back because they know their behaviors are a little are not they're not overly offensive, but they have to kind of take, oh yeah, I was raised in that kind of family. I got to calm down a bit and think this through. So yeah, and it's sad too because, you know, if you focus too much on the bad or allow the bad to get to you, you miss all the good. So which is probably another reason why I can't stand people who just instantly go into a fit when they think there's an SJW hiding in the local bushes. So so does that make any sense, or am I rambling?
No, that's all it comes down to is, just you can't put umbrellas on everybody. You can't just put big terms like that. You can't just attach labels to a group of people because of one stupid instance or something. It's just it's just a weird world we live in.
Yeah, a weird and equally scary world. So, but yeah, no, it's just it's impossible to get away from that word SJW and it being used like you say. It's losing its meaning. And for me, it's the equivalent of somebody like, you know, a spirit crawled up my knee and caused me to dance. So yeah, so. But
well, again, I just want to apply it to the other side too, of where the people the people that they're referring to very much are out there, and I'm sure are extreme nuisances. Just from what I like, again, it's part of the reason that it upsets me, like the collectivism sort of culture of it all. Is I like people, like individual people with individual opinions. Same thing why I don't like being in fandoms. I just like being a fan of something and having a few friends that are fans is the thing I am, and we can talk about it rather than being. It's kind of like I've lost a lot of respect for Stephen Colbert in recent years because even when I'm being preached to of stuff that I believe with, I don't like being preached to and pandered to. And every bit of his late show gimmick is totally revolved 100% around stupid Trump impressions and poking fun at Trump and asking like celebrity guests, "Hey, that Trump, he's a real jerk, ain't he?"
Yeah.
And he barks to his own crowd too. He says these things to get applause, not to actually create smart comedy anymore, like he did for years on like the Colbert Report and when he was on the Daily Show.
Oh yeah. But to be fair, he's on mainstream television, and mainstream television, regardless if you think it's liberal or not, all they do is talk about Trump over and over again. So because it gets some ratings.
Yeah, and like that's the
only defense I can say for Colbert. It's like I don't think he's nowhere near as bad as, say, I don't know what's the name of the actress who plays Captain Marvel. Like some of the insert foot to mouth stuff she says that kind of gives liberals a bad name.
Well, I just think he's so bad because he's on every night and he has such a huge reach of his audience, and his audience is full of people who agree with him and are just going to applaud every time he does his stupid Trump impression. So that's why he does it, is just to get people to agree. He's preaching to the choir. Like, I hate that so much about comedy. Like, you're not saying...
Now that you said preaching to the choir, that does make a lot more sense. I can see where
and it's just the fact where I agree with a lot of what he's saying, but he's doing it so obnoxiously and not smart at all, and just to get, hey, you people agree with me, right? Let's all voice that we agree with each other. Yay, Trump bad, us good, we win, get cookie.
Yeah.
It's just like, fucking have a brain and be an individual for once. Stop collecting. It's scary, this mob that forms of people who agree with each other and then like are aggressively on a side of something, and it just bothers me.
Yeah, and even if that wasn't the case, I know he's a dangerous, big, giant, stupid baby in the Oval Office, but I'm getting tired of the 24-hour Trump news talk, regardless if it's coming from CNN, Colbert, Fox News, or MS. I don't know. It's just...
Well, that's what won him the election, is that everybody keeps talking about him.
Yeah.
Like, the more you talk about him, the more publicity he gets.
Yeah.
He's a businessman. Any publicity is good publicity. People are talking about him.
I know.
And with the comedy and like late night shows and whatnot, it's like, yeah, I agree. I know. I feel this stuff. Actually say something else that's funny and interesting.
Yeah, there are a lot of horrible things happening in the world you can make fun of.
Yeah, you can comment on, but no, it's just, oh God, constantly.
Yeah, and I'm getting sick and tired of it's like, even CNN, anyone who says the media is liberal are idiots, because CNN they'll completely ignore Bernie Sanders.
but they'll spend 6 hours on, oh, Donald Trump said something bad about a hamburger.
Yeah. I think there was a funny thing where, they were covering while Bernie Sanders was giving a speech in the last election.
This is bullshit, you idiots. Open your eyes.
No. They were covering just an empty Trump podium, waiting for him to come out for like 45 minutes.
I know. It's ridiculous. I know the mainstream media hates Bernie Sanders, but even if there was no Bernie Sanders in existence, they would still have the camera on that damn podium.
Yeah.
Because
people, I think it's with the people, the people who get off on being offended. They kind of sickly watch his stuff just so they can get angry about something and tweet something out. And that's what he does. That's what he does. He's a big caricature who pushes buttons. That's why they cover him so much, is because he gets ratings and he gets people talking and reactions and retweets on CNN's Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
Because people on both sides, you have the people who agree with him and are like, yeah, Trump. And you have the people who are like, oh my God, I can't believe Trump said this. Oh, white supremacist power horde or whatever. It's just he gets attention. Just stop fucking make up your own mind. Stop buying into the news media machine and just get on with your life.
Yeah, but and more importantly, there's like more important things to worry about in and out of Trump. And we're focusing on, like, this is like reality television. It's like we're worshiping an idiot for ratings. And I know some people like to say there's a conspiracy going on, like this is the way the oligarchy wants it to be. But at the same time, knowing just how bloody stupid business and television is, this is also a good, if that's all true, it's also a good mix of just like, Trump gets his ratings. So it's some kind of silly thing.
The people who are really obsessed with like getting Trump impeached also humor me, because you realize then we have Mike Pence and nothing changes. You realize that, right? The only difference is we don't have a president who tweets at 4 a.m, but nothing will change policy wise. So big whoop. You did your little march. You got the president impeached. You still got the religious fanatic who wants to open up electric shock therapy for people.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like the people. Like, impeachment isn't going to do shit, and even if the impeachment option was on the table, there's no way in hell that the fellow Republicans and the Democrats are going to allow that to happen, because that means their butts could get fired in the future. So there are like more important things we need to worry about right now. Instead, it's like, what about impeachment? It's like, no, he's about to strangle this little kid. Help me stop him. But we can impeach him in the future. You idiots.
Yeah.
That's just an analogy. Trump hasn't physically killed anybody. So because he's too afraid. He has very small hands.
Yeah, he can't really get a grip with the strangling.
Exactly. It's like, I can speak big, but I can't grasp big. Oh, my curse.
Yeah.
So I almost felt sorry for Trump there for a moment.
Just play sad violin music over him, just trying desperately to strangle someone.
On the world's smallest violin, because that's the only thing you can hold.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I'm wow, we're getting real tonight, huh?
I don't know.
Real stupid that is.
There you go.
Okay, so let's. But anyways, to get to the point, I hate the word SJW. Try to use something better if you're trying to convince me otherwise. So, but yeah, I'm done with the word SJW.
Yeah, I think it's just. I think I just view it more as less people who are actually that way, and instead of people just trying to do good, then get that term attached to them. People who are actually, that kind of people. I just call them like collective, like offense hounds, like people who want to be offended, so then they can
reactionaries. I just realized that's a way better word for both sides of the conflict, because they react, but they don't think.
It's the very left-leaning people who are just looking to like have an outcry or looking to be outraged, like people who are just like search the internet, scouring tweets and message boards just to be outraged by something, and then they like write a post about it and get other people who also want to be outraged about something, and then they all get together and then they have a witch hunt over this thing that didn't really matter in the first place, and they could be occupying their time with something far more important, but just want to like cause other people harm and like say, look at what you did, and rub their nose in it. Those people are, again, I'm just glad I'm not in any public position or anything to where I would have to deal with any of those people. I don't know, the fact it just boils down to there's annoying people on the internet, and you kind of just have to move on with your life and ignore them. That's all.
Right.
Hold on a minute. Yeah. So yeah, it's you're right. No. I like you, Brayton. You're a good kid.
I like to think so. I try my best. Those would be unkind words. I tried my best. to quote Dean Warner when describing his acting.
Right. How does he say it? Like, this
is.
Yeah.
So I haven't acted since. Some people would say that I didn't act during, but those would be unkind words. I tried my best.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if we can bring in Andres for a little bit.
Oh Lord. I'm already here, Ralph.
Oh my God!
You didn't need to look far.
I just realized if I start screaming, the dog's gonna howl. So don't.
I love you, Vicky.
No.
Her name's not even Vicky.
Yeah,
that's the thing I noticed when I watched that movie back. He sings the thing. He sings the first song he sings is about Vicky, and then the second song he sings is about Valerie. His girl's name is Roxy.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to rhyme anything with Roxy. Roxy is
Roxy, you are foxy.
But now you're stuck in a boxy.
Ooh.
Ega.
Egad, I'll say. Egad.
Egad.
Yeah.
Egad is such a fun word to say. That movie, I haven't seen that movie in ages, let alone the Mystery Science Theater episode that introduced me to it.
I was introduced at a very young age of like 9 on Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, how was that like?
I didn't really. Again, I grew up with a guy who was broadcasting like. It's weird. He wasn't a local horror host show by any means, but he was like beamed through like satellite radio or something. I don't know how the thing works. From like Arizona, I think it's Reno, Nevada. Is Reno in Nevada? He was from Reno.
Yes, I believe it is in Nevada. And Reno would sound like the kind of like obscure little television stations that would exist back then. Yeah,
there was a guy who had. You see the credit of the ending of the Mystery Science Theater episode. A special thanks to Zombo. He had Zombo's House of Horror Movies, and he still does it, as I understand.
Wow, how old is he?
He's an old guy. I'm surprised at how old he is. He looks, in the makeup, he looks just like himself. But yeah, he's an elderly Sicilian man.
Ah.
But yeah, he was just local horror host, and he would show all these public domain movies dressed as a skeletal ghoul who would make bad puns.
Yeah, you showed me some clips of Zombo. I would gladly play them on air, but after what happened with the Winter Punderland, I don't want to repeat that again.
It's pretty juvenile, amazing humor. I think it's so funny though, and he had such enthusiasm for it. Every time his show would start, he'd be, "Ooh, boys and girls, it's the scariest movie ever made." Like every movie was the scariest movie ever made. I watched EGOT. He among the other Mystery Science Theater featured movies that I saw first, like by them uncut. Yeah, EGOT was among them. And not good.
Yeah, it's like I like Richard Kiel quite a bit, and it's cool to see him in a movie where he's the titular character.
Yeah, I always had like these. I watched it. I saw it first at a very young age, though, and I always from that movie the one thing I took away was the vivid like chase scene of him like giving chase into their dune buggy across the desert.
Yeah,
and in my mind, I don't know why, but I always got that scene mixed up in my very young child mind with, was it the first Flintstone movie or whatever, where they're in the desert? I can't explain it. But yeah, cavemen in the desert, they did belong there. But yeah, Richard Kiel, he's kind of built for those roles, I guess, the poor guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of his blessing and his curse. But yeah, I don't know. EGOT's a very dirty. It's a movie that it's interesting though. It's a movie. It's an interesting bad movie. It's not like a blah, write it off kind of thing. I watch it if I ever see it like on a local horror host station where it's just playing, or just I get bored on YouTube and want to watch the episode again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch it because it's a really funny episode, one of the best I think.
Right.
And EGOT. It's an interesting movie, and the whole Arch Hall Jr. Appealing to the hip kids thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were going for. I really don't.
Yeah, well, it was obviously made for teenagers, but at the same time, you could tell it was from like really old exploitation filmmakers making it.
This is what the kids like.
Yeah, hire a 30-year-old to play a teenager. So.
Yeah, I think Archel Jr. was like really young, but yeah, he just had that face.
Yeah. What's funny though,
he had a scarier face than Richard Kiel.
Yeah. It's like Richard. Like I'll say this outright. I think Richard Kiel, despite his great size, he's a handsome-looking giant. All right, so it's like he's a good-looking man, despite the
as far as they go, yeah.
Yeah. Even
I mean, look at the competition he's got for like those kind of roles, you know, like Tor Johnson, Rondo Hatton. What's his name? Dave. What's his name? Ted Cassidy.
Actually, Ted Cassidy didn't look that bad. So when he wasn't, but then again, anybody looks good as Lurch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Yeah, no. Richard Kiel was a very handsome, nice young man, especially during that time. So much so that like as a little kid watching the EGOT episode, I honestly think Roxy would have been better off with EGOT. Despite how rough he can get sometimes. Right, Dad, go visit with EGOT, dear.
Yeah, no, don't make him angry. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be sick. Anyways, so
as he's licking the shaving cream off of his face.
Oh my god. So yeah, but ready to like knock her father into a coma so he can have his way with her. Yeah, so Ego's not a wholesome movie.
It's a yucky movie.
Yeah. But with that says though, it's like Richard Kiel's still a good looking person. He's and him playing a large caveman works. I do have to wonder though, is it just me or does it feel like they went I know Richard Kiel is a tall guy, but I think they went the extra mile to get as many short actors as possible to be in that movie to make Richard Kiel
look smart, even bigger. Maybe.
Yeah, because it's like Archibald Jr. He's a pretty short person in real life, but it's like every other actor. I think they literally found people who were just barely 6 feet or under 6 feet, and that
would be the smart thing to do, just to make him look bigger.
Yeah, and that would explain why it's a very effective caveman, especially that scene where he is chasing him in the desert. He really does feel even like 10 feet bigger than he should.
Yeah. You see the big silhouette in the distance. He's running after him.
Yeah. No, there's some things about Ega. Like I honestly have not seen Ega uncut, and it's like that.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah, no, the rapey scene gets really bad.
Yeah, really uncomfortable. And this was back in the '60s too, where it's like that kind of like questionable.
It's tried to play to be weirdly sweet, but it's just
no, yeah. It's like, thank God it doesn't go to the same route as like Drogo and Daenerys in Game of Thrones. Yeah. But it gets close there, and it's
or Ook and the midget and the poor ladies from Frankenstein's Castle of Freaks get that reference.
Yeah. Oh no, I saw that movie recently thanks to Cinematic Titanic. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, Ook.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Egot is a very interesting movie. I saw, a lot of these movies I saw way before, Mystery Science Theater, one of my top, it's in, I have a weird tie for, my favorite, a weird three-way tie for my favorite TV show of all time. It's between Breaking Bad, The Twilight Zone, and Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, not bad choices.
No, but they're the three most polar opposite shows ever, and they're all, at the top, and I love them all for different reasons. But yeah, I saw a lot of these movies as a young kid on Zombo's House of Horror Movies, way before I got into this show. So, and I had a lot of weird vivid things, images that would just stay in my mind from the movies. Another one I saw was The Brain That Wouldn't Die on Zombos. So he hit all the hits of the public domain crap that's out there.
Yes, gigantic quotation marks, the hits.
Yeah, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. I remember The Closet Monster scared the heck out of me as a little kid.
Oh, Monster in the Closet.
Yeah, the monster in the closet who like eats the guy's ear at the end, who bursts out at the end.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about the 1980s comedy film.
No.
Monster in the Closet. Yeah.
I'm the one from Brain of Them Die.
Yeah. It's like, look at my arm. It's just slightly wrinkled. Shut up.
I'm acting. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. I'm acting too. I got my head through a table. Oh, you're doing a good job. Thank you. Anyways, I hate you.
I hate you. You sit there. No, yeah, that and was it Teenagers from Outer Space? I saw on the Zombo show. And I don't know what it was, but as a kid, I don't think I ever stuck around or I was awake long enough to see the giant lobster at the end. Because when I watched the MST episode, I was like, oh, that's new.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's my
you owe me money.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What else? Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the Magic Sword, which we've talked about, I think, in the past.
Yeah,
and,
one of your favorite movies too.
Well, one of my favorite public domain movies for sure.
Okay. Not exactly one of my favorites. Let's get this clear.
Fucking was it Jaws, the Third Man, and yeah, that right underneath that Magic Sword. No. I saw a lot of crap as a kid, and I enjoyed the crap though as a little kid. I was a crappy movie hound as a child.
Yeah,
I got like the original releases of the Mill Creek 50 movie packs, like when they just had generic stock images on the front rather than like Gamera and Phantom of the Opera before those.
Right.
So yeah, I ate all this stuff up. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's funny because you grew up when the DVD revolution was starting.
Yeah.
So the end days of VHS tape. When I was starting to be introduced to monster movies, it was when cable television had a greater variety of films to play every day. You know, it's like memories of TNT, and it's like the various film programs showing like the weirdest obscure movies every day. Like I remember like Christmas of '92, it was Amazing Adventures, where every weekday afternoon it was like a mini marathon of like these bizarre fantasy movies, and that's how I found Captain Sinbad or Thunderbirds or Go and all those great movies. So it's the good old days. Now today it's like, thankfully we live in, like you said, we live in a day and age where you can go online, you can find a lot of these movies easily, either order them or download them or watch them for free on YouTube. But back then it was kind of cool where it's like the cable television was like a tap to the well of weird movies. Like, it's 2 a.m. on a Friday night. I'm bored. Let's see what's on ABC. And you get like a bizarre Italian E.T. ripoff about like a weird little astronaut suited alien kid hanging out in a church. And I think he dies at the end and returns on the same spaceship as Puma Man. There's a movie I can't find a title to, but the memories are still very vague, including I think an early movie of Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, where it's like this bizarre little house gnome character brought to life as a puppet who helps a bunch of kids try to find a treasure in a haunted house, and the climax has them fighting like a possessed suit of armor. It's not as cool as it sounds, but it's like, even like on like local network television, you would find like some of like the weirdest obscurities and gems you can imagine.
Yeah, well, it got depressing for me because eventually I was a kid and I was really loving this stuff, and eventually Zombo started he stopped like beaming or whatever. Like his signal stopped coming through from Reno, so I was kind of starved for that entertainment. But eventually, I found the same kind of just weird. How would you say it? Like I'm a cinematic. What's the people who enjoy pain? I'm a cinematic.
Not
masochist. That's it.
A
movie
masochist. Yes.
Yeah. To where like you could go to our local Dollar Tree or dollar store, and they'd have like a big box of like really thin covered 2 movie like packs called like Family Classics or something, and they were all just like horrible public domain little movies.
Yeah, anything but classic.
Yeah, that's that they had like a pack of like Gamera versus Monster X with War of the Monsters was one. The public domain versions they had. That's where I saw a lot of the really disturbing Italian Wolfman werewolf movies with Paul Naschy.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the Wolfman
which
and
like
Magic Sword. Yeah,
which frightened the heck out of me as a child.
I'm in love with you, and I hope nothing bad happens to our romance.
Yeah, he is fucking. He's almost like a bear monster. He's hardly even a wolf man. Every time you see him, there's blood and guts dripping from his fangs. And I was still a kid when I was watching this. Keep in mind, I was like 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old, watching this crap.
Right.
So I was a messed up child. That's for sure.
A lot of those like public domain movies on early DVD are not meant to be seen by children either.
No, and my parents were like, yeah, well, whatever once, you know.
Like Frankenstein Island. Hopefully, there's no nudity and sex stuff going on. Oopsie.
Well, I told you the story about my mom and I buying a 2-pack of Queen Kong and Kong Island, I think, from Borders.
Oh God.
And being very disturbed by it.
Oh yeah, what was it? The Queen Kong thing had like it was released by Fred Owen Ray's company Retro Media.
Yeah.
And if you know Fred Owen Ray, he's a man who's quoted, I'm paraphrasing, the easiest special effects is to get a girl to take her top off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I kind of like Fred Owen Ray, not for the reasons you think.
I wonder why.
Yeah, but at the same time, even it's like what is it? I have like some of the DVDs for some of like the supposedly family friendly monster movies, and it opens with a giant busty blonde woman getting her like bra ripped off by some weird demon monster, and it's like, oh hi there, we're just watching some good old entertainment. So it's, yeah, Fred, we know.
Yeah.
So and then of course Fred ended up, before Cinemax decided to become a quote unquote real channel, practically every nudie flick they showed was from Fred Owen Ray.
Well, yeah. That's how the DVD opened up. Was like before you got to the menu, it was blang, like someone like a creep peering over a woman lying in bed or something, and just ripping the top off.
Yeah,
that's how it opened. And my mom and I were, because my mom was in the room when I put it in. Yeah. And I was very, very caught off guard by that.
I know. So would a parent too. It's like, oh, my kids love giant monkey movies.
Yeah.
Like Queen Kong. Like, oh my God! Yeah. So that was,
essentially.
Yeah.
It's a great reenactment.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even for you guys like you and Joe, and I can admit, something like Bigfoot versus DB Cooper. There's so much. There's a thing called too much of a good thing. You can have it.
Yeah.
It gets a little gratuitous.
That's how I felt about like the opening of a Retro Media menu screen after I watched it for 40 times straight, of course.
Okay.
Miss Blue.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So this is what it's like hanging around with the boys. I mean, by boys, I mean the insecure, weird man child that is Rapid Show. I'm so glad James and Wynn isn't here. But yeah, it's like, are there any like of all these public domain movies, did you ever find like an odd gem here and there?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, there'd be like the occasion things that I can't remember the names to. But and I remember enjoying, like, there'd be the occasional like cool Western movie or something, like I saw, was it Gunslinger, I think, before I saw it on MST3K. And I like Gunslinger with Beverly Garland as she's seeking revenge for
and in doing so she ends up falling in love with the hired gun. Yeah. Do you think that movie's a little melodramatic though, when they're like having a heart-to-heart while still shooting at each other?
Yeah. It's Corman, Raph. You can't ask for the world. But oh yeah, definitely. There was always an occasional, really good. Like again, I mentioned Magic Sword, which was a movie I did love as a child, and they play and Zombo played it a lot, so I would always watch when that was on. Magic Sword, Gunslinger. A lot of the things I can look, sometimes I'll just go rounding around on YouTube for crap to watch and say, I'll just see random shuffle through these public domain playlists that I have, movies that I haven't watched. And you'll find an occasional weirdy, but really interesting and well done, well executed weirdy. Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one. Another one that was on Mystery Science Theater, Tormented, is a really good creepy ghost story. with the jazz pianist who lets was it his wife or his girlfriend fall? I think
his ex-girlfriend who was blackmailing him.
Yeah,
which is the weak plot point of the whole movie.
Yeah, but it's creepy. It's effectively creepy with the whole Tom Stewart killed me and the disembodied head and everything.
Yeah, and and it's also like I know Mystery Science Theater make fun of that movie like being very sleaze and everything, but it's a generally engaging, bittersweet, supernatural drama, and you actually feel sorry for the film's supposed villain / protagonist because he probably wanted something better in his life, and then his girlfriend screwed up. He overreacted. And then of course he gets haunted by a ghost and almost ends up killing a close little girlfriend of his, literally little girl he happens to be friends with. It has like I actually like Tormented quite a bit. That's an episode of Mystery Science Theater I revisit more often, less because of the laughs and more because of the movie itself. Yeah,
there are some weird public domain things out there that are kind of they're weirdly well executed. Like I think there's kind of a Western-esque movie called The Big Cat, where it's about like a mountain lion that's terrorizing this local town. And it's like a guy who's hired to like, it's kind of like a Jaws type or that kind of deal where you're hired to get this animal that's fucking things up for everybody.
Right. So would you say it's an animal attack movie, or is it like made long before the 70s?
Oh yeah, this is like the advent of color, like early 40s. It's very much of a very earlier time. But The Big Cat is one that I remember enjoying. There's one called The Ape with Boris Karloff that is not very good, but it's kind of interesting in its own way. He's like a mad doctor, or he's a doctor who's trying to do the right thing and trying to cure this woman's paralyzed self so she can walk again. This young woman who's like he is very close to and kind of looks as a daughter figure. But it gets a little strange when he murders an escaped gorilla from a local circus, and then to get her back to where she can walk, he has to kind of get the spinal fluid from victims. So he goes around in a gorilla skin killing people, but it's for a noble cause, Raph. It's a weird movie, but as nonsensical and odd as it is, I think it's directed fairly well, and there's some great moments of suspense in it and whatnot. You'll find competent movies out there that are still really silly and odd, but they're well done. There was some talent behind it.
Yes.
Whether it be in actors or in directors and whatnot.
By the way, we actually have somebody who joined us. He goes by the name of Jack Travis. And I'm just going to quickly read the question and reply I did. He says, what is it like to work with Brendan Tenold? And I said, quite a lot of fun.
Who is that clown?
Yeah, who's Brendan Tenold? Who is this person? Explain yourself, Jack Travis. Went like quite a lot of fun, as he's pretty cool and mellow fellow whose knowledge and love of cult movies impresses even me. I should have said outmatches me, because he knows about movies I didn't even know existed. His next review will be an Ultraman movie. I should have said Ultraman. And he's like, oh yeah, I saw the teaser image on his Facebook site, which reminded me there were some Ultraman movies. So quite a bit, actually, Jack. So much so that...
Too many.
Yes, so many Ultraman movies, in fact, that you can read about some of them in Kevin Dorndorf's latest book, Kaiju for Hipsters, 101 Alternative Giant Monster Movies.
Yay.
Our sponsor for the night. So... but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the review because I want to hear. At first, I thought he was going to review Space Warriors 2000, which
he's not.
No, he isn't. He's reviewing the original Japanese-Thai co-production, the Seven Ultra Brothers meet Hanuman.
Oh,
so yeah, that's going to be a lot more interesting than I expected. But then again, Space Warriors 2000 is such horrible quality that I think I had no choice but to go to the official subtitled Japanese DVD release, which is which I think is readily available on YouTube, because Tsuburaya Productions has dropped Hanuman like a bad habit,
Uh,
and for many reasons. For example, and Jack Travis says, "Ooh, I try and get that book." If you have any interest in giant monsters beyond Godzilla and King Kong, it is definitely one hell of a read, because even he brings up movies I didn't even know freaking existed. And Kevin Dorndorf is so knowledgeable. He brings up like tons. It's like almost obscure giant monster movie Inception. Some of the movies he brings up within the movies. So, but yeah, it's definitely worth getting. So I think you can easily get it on Amazon. So
nice.
So yeah, as much as I didn't enjoy G Fest that much, it was cool to meet everybody in person.
Yeah.
And it's like, and to get all these free books from it. It's like, oh, and Shoma, could you please, review this on one of your distinguished live streams? And it's like, what are you kidding? What are you, mad man? Shut your mouth. I'm gonna jump out this book. I can dig it.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I finished the line. Okay, one more question from Jack Travis that I will answer live, and then after that, also, have you ever met Monster Island buddies? And if you have, don't worry, I'm not trying to learn his real identity. Oh, you don't want to know his real identity. I've seen some things. No, I am not familiar with Monster Island buddies. Unfortunately, in fact, is that the one? That's the one that's kind of an ongoing story, but that's kind of well done. You said, but with like Bandai vinyl toys.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard. I think it's something to that extent.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched it ever. Somebody, I think Andrew or somebody showed me maybe an episode of it.
Okay, Jack.
I think they have their own little ongoing. It's a comedy series with vinyl toys. They have their own little universe, I think.
Yeah. No, Jack just confirmed. Yeah, that's the same thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, and hold on.
I think it's pretty popular apparently with people.
Yes. So, and as you can see, the Plesiotris, the line work on the Plesiotris is done. How does it look so far?
I don't know. I can't see it on your webcam, Raph. I have to go back to the live stream.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that.
I imagine it looks great.
Yes. I'll leave it there until you get there. So.
Oh, great.
Oh, actually, I can't show it to you right now. Oh wait, I can take a screen capture and share it to you on Skype, because we're using Skype because freaking YouTube sucks right now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this new chat system they have is horrible. So it's like I can only talk to myself, and I have to use. Well, so far this low-tech way is working out quite well, actually. But yeah.
Looks great, Raph.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny when you do the prep work, it comes out looking a lot better than when you started. So, yeah. Although you can say that about practically anything, like
Oh yeah.
I have this raw meat. Once I do the prep work, it'll be edible.
Just take my word for it.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
So now, oh my goodness. So okay, so I talked to oh yeah, I don't know what to talk about right now. So
talk to somebody.
Thank you, Jack Travis, for the compliments.
What is it like working with? What is it like knowing Brandon for all this time, Raph, being his first? I think I've asked you this before, how he reached out to you, or you guys got connected, or you guys were combined through the Big Bang somehow, and an explosion occurred in space and fused both of you together.
Well, yeah.
How long have you been working with him now, though?
I think, wow, that's a question. I think at least at most 5 years, probably, because I know exactly how we met. Like, what is it? One night, hold on. I'm gonna check his website to get correct dates.
Oh, okay.
Right. His wall of infamy. This is when I met in Shoma.
It's a little timeline,
right? Exactly.
with a little Brandon, like a little head cut out to express like his mood for each event. Just a big frowning face under Ned and
Right,
Sean.
right. With that wonderful eye, he has a wonderful brow, by the way. It's like,
Oh my God, yeah, Brandon's a wonderful, like, I really, when I go back and watch, like, it, because I've been a fan of his for a long time, but I haven't been like like a, what do you call it, like a addictive viewer or something to where like I gotta watch everything. But yeah, going back and rewatching and watching a lot of his stuff for the first time, he has a wonderful ability about him.
yeah,
To be like to like play. It's a thing that few people have, and why I'm not really a big fan of like just pure like snark kind of with where it's just people being like just being rain clouds or something. Brandon's like subverts that because he does that very well of like picking apart movies, but he also gives praise to some movies, and he's really intelligent and really talented at what he does. So
yeah.
Shout outs to Brandon Tennant.
Yes, but no, I was close. I've known him for at least 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, may have been 5 years because he had his original YouTube channel got destroyed by and then there was the Blip TV apocalypse, which is even worse. By the way, I think they're doing some construction over in the highway, so I hear a faint noise going on right now.
Oh no, it's the devil's whistle, Rob. The devil's whistle. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, they're doing some drilling over by the highway, so you can faintly hear it. But yeah, I've known him for 4 years right now, and yes, this is the Brendan Tennant story, so strap yourself in, Jack and Brayton. So, so what happened was one night I got bored, and I said, yeah, it'd be a good movie to play while I'm doing artwork on YouTube. I mean, what would be a good movie to play on YouTube while I'm doing artwork on the computer? And it's like, I think I'll try to find it to see if there's any like copies of Warlords Atlantis on YouTube, because I previously had a version of that movie on like an old VHS tape that was given to me by a not so reliable acquaintance, I'll just say. And it's like I was just like, oh, there's got to be a version on YouTube that's to watch. And so far, I couldn't find anything but trailers. And then it's like I saw this thing called the Doug McClure-a-thon. It's like, what's this? Brendan Tennant. And I was apprehensive at first because it's like, it's an internet reviewer. This is going to be pretty bad. It's going to be like a large fellow sitting on his couch holding a DVD, going like, this movie sucks. I don't even know I got it.
Well, that's the thing with like the Doug Walker Renaissance, I guess, and like online reviewers. To where it's pretty unbearable to go watch like 99% of the Nostalgia Critic videos. But there's people who have done that format and I think are still funny and have like done really well and much better, like Brad Jones, Cinema Snob, and Brandon. Like I think it's such a form of review that you got to be really talented to do it. And those two, Brandon and Brad Jones are like the two people who are like, oh, they're actually funny and interesting personalities, and they actually talk about the movie. This is nice.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell there's some actual love alongside the yuck and the gags.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because I imagine you have to like these movies to want to spend this much time and make your job basically watching these movies and talking about them.
Oh yeah.
You can't just be, God, I hate this. I hate it.
Yeah, this is the worst movie ever.
Because at the end of the day, you're choosing to watch this.
It's your fault. You made your bed. You sit in it.
Yeah, you're choosing to commit your time to watch this, write a script, and film and edit this.
Exactly. So, hold on. This is it.
But anyway, Warlords of Atlantis.
Yes. So I saw this review of Warlords Atlantis. I went there apprehensively, like, oh god, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be like two fat guys just sitting on a couch talking about this movie, and it's like, this is a horrible movie. Everything about it stinks. Why did we choose this? I don't know. So, like Red Letter Media minus the charm and the Tennessean wit, or Milwaukee wit.
Milwaukee, and far from Tennessee.
Yes,
Wisconsin wit.
Wisconsin wit. But then I reviewed it, and I was well. First off, the opening with like the Doug McClure theme music, or it's like, you know,
I am a real American.
That song is proof that, you know, the art survives the artist.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. Yeah, that was playing against a montage of Doug McClure, and I grew up with the Doug McClure movies. Like, I think they were my gateway drug into kaiju before I knew what kaiju was. So yeah, I'm reviewing this, and then he comes on, and it's one of his older videos, so he's not as energetic or as wacky as he would become kind of in later videos. So, but it was still pretty entertaining, and it's like I really enjoyed it. So I started watching his whole Doug McClure marathon, as well as some of his other earlier videos he had, like a Night of the Bloody Apes, and what else? What else we got here? Yeah, it's like, oh,
Ray Harryhausen.
Yes, Ray Harryhausen passed away. A man who I never had the chance to personally meet, despite being in the same room with him. I was stalking him from behind a couch. No,
I was looking over his shoulder while he was animating Clash of the Titans, brooding heavily.
Right. It's like I was a small floating baby back then. Nobody noticed it was a small floating baby. It's a baby. No. He was, I went to a film festival where he was doing autographs, but me and my brothers, we didn't have the gumption to go up and say hello to him. But we grew up with his movies and some of the Doug McClure stuff. There were, you know, we knew a lot about his works from the movies that aired all the time before we got into Godzilla and whatnot. But yeah, he passed away. That was kind of like a big disappointment because, you know, I wish he was around a little longer. And then Brendan contacted me. It's like, I'm planning on doing a homage video to Ray Harryhausen, and I would really like to do something special for it. Could you do a character collage for my top 10 Ray Harryhausen movies? And it's like, oh, I would be absolutely happy to do it. And in both a mix of like I wasn't really sad, like too sad about it, but it was kind of like in both a mix of like enthusiasm and respect for the man. I whipped up the top 10 Ray Harryhausen card. And since then, Brendan was like, you know, I want to keep you around as my main title card artist. And for the first year and a half, it was wonderful. And after that, it was just hell on earth. No, the joke was, what happened was, kind of like burned out by how many like episodes he was released. He's a very good worker, Brendan Tenold is. Like, he releases at least one video every week now. Before it was like one video every 2 weeks. And as you know, I pretty much justify my existence by taking care of my family as like the live-in custodian, so to speak. And I can say it, it's 3 a.m. Nobody's here other than Jack and you. So we decided to bring in another artist, and thankfully it was Earth Baragon, aka James, who was like the second chosen of the Brendan Tenold title card artists. And although there's a small roster of us title card artists, I'm still the lead one, or at least the first one. And I definitely take care of like the more complex multi-monster pieces. Like, what is it? I'm not going to reveal what his 200th episode is, but it's definitely going to be a big character collage again. So, yeah, I'm going to earn my money with this one. Yeah. So, yeah. And, no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you and Earth Baragon's art for him are definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Earth Baragon, that's a guy who, I didn't know until our last conversation. I think off Skype, maybe it was. He made some of my favorite Mystery Science Theater artwork out there of like Cambot, Tom Servo, and Gypsy with like corresponding monsters in the background.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And he's extremely talented, that guy.
Yeah, and of course he's joined us on live streams too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but hold on, I'm just replying. Travis asked like what Godzilla monsters would, outside obvious like Gamera and Ultraman, would I like to see meet? And I said either the Toho monsters Godzilla never met directly, or monsters from mythology. And he brought up Mechanicon, who of course almost fought Godzilla back in the mid-90s. But that movie never got made. Although they did end up bringing back Mechanicon as kind of a thinly veiled new character, Barogi, or I'm probably saying the name wrong, but an original giant ape robot from Grand Caesar, which was one of Toho's attempts in the early 2000s to do a Super Sentai Power Ranger type superhero show. And Barogi, I'm getting his name wrong, but it's basically Mechanicon just with a new name. So,
I just have to laugh sometimes because I get that unmade movies are really interesting, but like some of the things are like Or a lot of the times I'm just like, yeah, there was a reason this wasn't made because it would fucking suck. Like, yeah, I'm sure Godzilla versus Mechanicon was going to be, that was going to be the standout of the series. That was going to be a cinematic triumph.
But you see, in the movie, he was going to also fight a giant Ophiuchthyrexis. I'm probably saying that name wrong too. And then at one point, our heroes had to shrink themselves so they could travel through Godzilla's bloodstream. It's going to be awesome. But again, it's like, what is it? I think one Godzilla movie that sounds awesome, but probably would have sucked. Possibly some of the versions of Batman versus Godzilla. Like that sounds cool. Godzilla meeting Batman. But then you hear about the Robert Dozier version of the same project.
William Dozier, right?
William Dozier, thank you.
Get your fucking facts straight, man. That's another. I left that off the list. That's also tied for my favorite show of all time.
Right, yeah, but oh god. Yeah, it's like that movie sounded a little like I love the Adam West Batman series like to no end, so much so that I regret not having the complete series on Blu-ray.
I do.
You lucky son of a nice lady, you.
Yeah.
But because the alternative would not have been nice. But at the same time, like, oh god, there's so much I could ask you about that. But at the same time, it does get a little too comical. Like Godzilla fall in love with a giant transistor robot version of himself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, going back to Bride of Godzilla, that sounds like an incredibly insane, wonderfully wacky monster movie. But then you realize, holy shit, that would have been too weird for its own good.
Yeah.
So I just screwed up a little bit on my artwork here. I didn't create a new layer for the coloring. So
and John LeMay's been really good about bringing to the forefront interesting ideas, but I'm just so sick of some of these tired ideas that people want to. I don't want to hear about Bacon anymore. I don't care about this.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
Kevin
bacon strips over here. I don't care about Bacon. Why does everybody care so much about the Super Nintendo reject? No one he's not that interesting. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think it's just they get
they give up on him for God's sake.
Yeah, there's so many interesting lesser known monsters out there, but I think people just kind of latch on to Bacon because he seems like the big bad we never had, or at least he's the unmade monster we know the most about. So although
don't shut up about it.
Yeah, but it is also kind of ridiculous how Bacon had not one but 7 opportunities to almost end up in official Godzilla media, and ended up getting rejected each and every time. It's like he was almost in the tie-in novels for the anime Godzilla trilogy, but then the author's like, "Oh, I don't think we own the rights to Bacon." It's like, oh shit! So he almost made it. It's like a comedy of errors with that poor guy. But it's like, yeah, Bride of Godzilla, that sounds fun, but then we realize if it got made, it'd be the equivalent of it would be like if you followed up Bride of Frankenstein with Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein less than a week after. And it's like you kind of need a progression.
Yeah.
So, and it's as interesting as
not even then though, because I that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I know, but
I defend that tooth and nail because the monster stuff in Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein are done completely straight, and I think it's one of Quentin Tarantino's main inspirations too. Surprisingly enough, because it's a great early blending of genres because the monster stuff, for that time, is really good and really straight and scary, and then the funny stuff is really funny, and they work so well hand in hand together. And with Bride of,
there is also a little bleed through between the two extremes. It's not like it's not like other horror comedies from the era where the
doesn't clash.
It doesn't clash.
It works well.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's some scenes where Bela Lugosi gives some really hilarious bits of dialogue, "I hope to spend lots of time with Abbott here."
and Lon Chaney Jr. plays a great straight man to Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, exactly. But Dracula kind of he's basically telling Abbott he's going to suck his neck dry later tonight. Abbott's like, "Oh, you're such a nice guy, Mr. Dracula."
So I defend that with Bride of Godzilla. It's just ridiculously all around. Where this would be terrible. Why? Who would think this would be a good idea? This is why it was unmade. Because Tomoyuki Tanaka probably was on the toilet one day and was like, "What if Godzilla got it on with the giant robot woman?" And then he flushed the toilet, came out, and was like, "Nah, probably not." And then that was the end of it.
Yeah, well, the sad thing about Bride of Godzilla, it's a movie that lasted a long time, and some elements eventually found their ways into the finished movie. Like we were making jokes about the giant sea louse from Godzilla, the Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1985. That was actually a holdover all the way from the original Bride of Godzilla. So it's a play on the giant tick that was supposed to show up in the original movie. So
Isn't they got like a box of unused ideas that they just, well, we need something here, just like shuffle around a box with a bunch of paper on, a bunch of paper with things written on it.
Yeah, they
pull
cover
something out from the
yeah,
ether.
they cover their eyes and pull it out. It's like, robot sex. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's for like, what is it? The first version of Bride of Godzilla sounds like a little too insane, especially following up the original Godzilla. It's too crazy too soon. But at the same time, as off-putting as that version of the movie was, I'm so glad they didn't do the late 70s version of Bride of Godzilla, because that had less monsters in it. The so-called Bride of Godzilla was going to be like a high-tech Mecha Godzilla ripoff, basically, which is a little boring. And the movie would have ended on a really dark note, where one of the mermaids has her poor baby shot in the head by military people, because it was the late 70s and you had to throw in some dark commentary about how humans suck. And Toho was all about, like, they just finished making Blue Christmas, so I guess, Blue Christmas, by the way, is a very depressing movie that ends with the mass genocide of otherwise innocent human-alien hybrids at the hands of humans, because, Japan. So, yeah, already I can hear you guys in shock right now. It's like, what the hell?
Can I ask, is there any version of Bride of Godzilla where it's another Godzilla who's a female?
No, there's been no.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no. The closest thing we had to a Mrs. Godzilla in the Showa movie was a Space Godzilla, but that's because it's revealed that Godzilla himself was always an alien woman from another planet, just one who was.
He got hit with a sex ray from outer space, Joel. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be great if Godzilla was like a woman from space. Tomiyuki Tanaka, get off the hooju juice.
I can't. It's the only way to hopefully, get the crap out. Literally, figuratively. No. Yeah. Okay. So in Space Godzilla, the original, it was a movie from the director of House, 1977. I don't know the name of the director, but he went on to do a whole bunch of other colorful and bizarre movies throughout the 70s, with House being his big debut feature / big blockbuster for the time. And House is basically kind of like a modern day fairy tale about a bunch of teenage girls who go to a haunted house and are devoured one by one by the house. It's my brother Miguel's favorite movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? We had a debate. It's like, I think House is overrated and a little too stupid. He says, what do you mean? I watched the movie to bring me happiness and joy. A girl playing the piano gets devoured by a piano in the most gruesome way imaginable. I know, it's funny. I know. Anyways, yeah, if you've seen clips on YouTube where a girl is karate fighting a killer lamp and she's devoured by a killer lamp except for her still kicking leg, that's House. But anyways, he was going to make a Godzilla movie where it turns out Godzilla dies of diabetes, and they discover that Godzilla was a woman the whole time, and not just pregnant, but an alien. So they decided to turn Godzilla, whose real name was Roseanne all the whole time, or Roseanne, in certain movies. I'm coming, Roseanne.
Monsters exist.
And I'm married to one.
Now feed me.
No, Roseanne. I can't say the name straight anymore. Okay, so Godzilla's corpse Roseanne's corpse is turned into a.
That's what happened on the Connors. That's how it was all explained away. Roseanne was just an alien Godzilla from outer space.
Okay, so she's turned into a cyborg spaceship. Her corpse is turned into a cyborg spaceship, so that her barely formed embryo baby can return to the home planet. Because the humans felt bad about what happened to Godzilla, and they feel it's the only way to make up for what's happened. So when it turns out there's an entire planet of intelligent Godzilla warriors who are at war with an army of evil, topless alien sphinxes, and their leader is Gomorrah, who's like this giant topless frog alien monster with battle gauntlets. And there was going to be there was going to be a fight against like giant rock birds, and there were going to be killer plants, and the climax would have been Roseanne's husband, the real king of the monsters, Godzilla. Not his name. I think his name, another alien name, Ruin or something, taking on Gomorrah in like a Street Fighter type battle across meteorites. And it was all going to be done in like 1970s Japanese stop motion, which is either you get like really good stuff like the Rankin Bass holiday specials from that time, or you get like really shitty, Born Free, Return of the Dinosaur special effects.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you remember the stop motion dinosaurs at the beginning of like Attack of the Super Monsters? Emperor Tyrannus! Oh, Tyrannus! Yeah, that kind of level of special effects. So yeah, but here's the thing. Like
the only interesting thing about that the most interesting thing that comes out of all this for me is that somebody did think this was a good idea, and was to the point where like, I think we got a movie here.
Yeah, it came very close to getting made. It's like the script got turned into a short story that was shared in Starlog magazine as a 2-part article spread over 2 issues. That's how close we came. They made a Godzilla puppet that was going to be used for stop motion tests. We came very close to having just an insane out of nowhere.
Yeah, could you imagine? Can you think of like how many bullets this series has dodged? Like, because these are franchise killers. Like, if this was the 2nd or 3rd movie, or like however many movies in, there wouldn't be any more after this. This would be fucking jumping and flipping the bird to the shark as you jump it.
Yeah. Well, here's what I thought what I've always thought would happen with Bride of Godzilla, because everyone loves House. All right, that's a movie that's gained.
Yeah. Hugh Laurie's a great actor.
No, not that version of House. The 1970 horror movie that this Japanese director was going to make.
Hugh Laurie's a good.
Shut up.
Actor.
Okay. All right, let me get this guy's real name so we cannot. That's another.
Hugh Laurie. Whoa, wow.
Shut up, Rachel. I've decided to make a Godzilla movie. I'm going to be really weird about it. You got any problems with that? I'm you.
And I want to play the piano.
All right, House, 1970. Let me get the name of the freaking director behind this damn movie, so we're not confusing.
I'm not confusing anything.
Nobuhiko Obayashi. Nobuhiko Obayashi. Yeah, you see it too. Yeah. Okay, so his movie House is generally beloved. It's a modern-day cult classic. It got rediscovered when it got re-released in modern-day Draft House Alamo theaters, because despite their extreme quality, the Alamo Draft House will release any shit.
Yeah.
The Visitor, for example, was an Alamo Draft House rediscovery, so to speak.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's like that's your cue to say, "Oh my god." Yeah. Well, but yeah, everyone loves House. But the director's other follow-up movies after that, especially his really crummy adaptation of the manga horror of the post-apocalyptic horror comic, A Drifting Classroom, is almost unwatchable and boring. So I could imagine like a Space Godzilla. It could have been like a really interesting, bizarro animated movie, like that weird version of the Nutcracker that the animators of the Rankin Bass holiday specials made on their own, independently from Rankin Bass. Or it could have just been a lot of style with no substance and just boredom and tedium. And I'm leaning more towards the latter, considering the director's other works.
Mm-hmm.
So because his version of the Drifting Classroom is all over the place. It's nihilistic while at the same time being ridiculously childish and hopeful. Like, it's like, what is it? It opens with a musical number before everyone gets sucked in at a school that's filled with international students. So you're stuck with terrible Japanese kid actors and equally terrible American kid actors. And this is the late 70s, late 80s Japan. So you know how bad it's going to be. And then they're having a musical number before the whole school gets taken away in a time warp, resulting in what I thought were our love interests going to be getting killed in a time warp.
Time warp again?
Yes. Let's
just
not
jump to the left
and a shake to the right. So let's not do the time warp again.
Yeah.
So But yeah, a lot of his other follow. Some of his movies are well loved, but a lot of his follow-up movies kind of suck. So or it's like they're interesting movies, but only in like the last 2 seconds. So of the film, it's like one of those 70s movies where you spend so much time, characters talking, interesting 10 minutes, last 10 minutes of the movie.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's what a Space Godzilla would have been like. But you're right. All these unmade giant monster movies are based like dodged bullets left and right.
Yeah.
It's like what is it, like Kong in space?
It's basically just Godzilla or Ishiro Honda doing the Matrix like ducking from the bullets things of like potential. Every bullet has like the title of one unmade movie on it. Just these horrible ideas.
I know. It's like what's another bad idea?
I mean, just the thing you mentioned is a Space Godzilla about him dying. He's a woman from the alien from space who dies of diabetes and is pregnant.
Uh-huh.
That, even by Toho standards, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life, and that would have murdered this franchise.
Right. It's like, I thought you were gonna say that's dumb.
No, that would have Norman Bates this movie series forever, just stabbing it repeatedly with dumb crap.
Right. Here's the thing. I think it wouldn't have destroyed the genre, but I think that would have been the only Godzilla movie we got in the late 70s, and Return of Godzilla would have waited a little longer.
Yeah, it'd be coming out this year.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think it's that bad, but it was pretty bad.
With a CGI Raymond Burr added in.
Yes, I see. Yes, I see. But at the same time, it does make your mind wonder. It's like, what could have been? And are there any of these unmade Godzilla movies that sound good in your opinion, or you think it's like the weird ones stick out? Like
I'm sure there's some interesting ones in there, but I just default and lay back to the fact, yeah, there's a good reason a lot of these weren't made. That's just the end all be all thing of it all. Is some of these weren't made for a reason, because it sounds neat on paper, but if you actually saw it and did a screen test, you would rethink some things here. So yeah, I just think there's some interesting ones in there, and John LeMay's probably written extensively about the interesting ones.
Oh yeah. But definitely pick up. Hold on, do I have it with me right now? John LeMay made a unmade King Kong book, and that's definitely worth picking up. Talking to you, Mr. Travis. So thank you for joining us, Travis. You're one of the nicer people we've ever had in our comment section. He does bring up, in terms of unmade Godzilla movies, I would have liked to have seen Godzilla vs. Ghost Godzilla. I have mixed feelings towards Godzilla vs. Ghost Godzilla, especially when you find out how many drafts they went through on the same idea. Like, some of the ideas sounded cool, but then other ones just got convoluted. Like at one point, Space Godzilla was to have multiple forms. It was going to be like a living Aurora Borealis that travels through the city and then crystallizes into... Oh, no. It possesses baby Godzilla, grows into a full-grown Godzilla, and then ends up becoming a crystal Godzilla after they just did Godzilla vs. the Space Godzilla.
Wow.
But then there's the version where Ghost Godzilla, like Baragon and Anguirus are in there. Baragon and Anguirus are apparently buddies who can merge to become a singular monster. But they get possessed by Ghost Godzilla, who then turns their combined monster body into a other version of space. If you thought Bagan was silly,
I've stopped trying to follow this route. Don't worry.
I can imagine. I have like a giant chart showing all the different progressions of Ghost Godzilla with like a red string connecting to each movie concept. And I'm like, this means something. And we just
and keep in mind how you feel right now. Someone had tried pitching these ideas to somebody at Toho with power. Yeah. Someone had to stand in front of someone and say, "Hey, I got this idea. Now hear me out." And then try and get all of these things out of their brain.
Oh my goodness.
And just imagine the sad Toho executive who just has to sit there and listen to this.
Well, actually, there's also times where like knowing the horrifying history of unmade Superman and Batman movies, particularly Superman, don't forget, it's like sometimes these executives are on board for stupid ideas.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you mean the Joker killed Batman's wife, but he blamed it on Superman? Brilliant! Put that in the back burner in case we need it later. Cut to like 2015's Batman v Superman. Oh, it happened. It happened. It happened.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But at the same time, yeah, I bet there's. It's hard to tell what movie executives think is a good idea and what's a bad idea. It's like, good idea.
It's just okay. You just gotta think with some common sense when talking about a lot of this stuff, and the fact that a lot of this unmade stuff is pretty darn. We should be pretty darn glad that it wasn't made.
All right. So now we were talking about James Bond a little earlier, and ironically, Jack Travis brought up this quick question. What do you think of the James Bond codename theory, i.e. that every actor who takes over the role of James Bond is technically a totally different character who's just using the same name? What do you think of that theory? I think it kind of cheapens the James Bond character a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, Godzilla has tons of different movie continuities, but it's still more or less the same character. But it's like with the James Bond thing, that's like a little... There is some credence to the theory in the sense that Dame Judi Dench played M during both the Pierce Brosnan days as well as the what's his face, the current guy.
Yeah, but so J.K. Simmons plays fucking J. Jonah Jameson in both the Tobey Maguire and the
Marvel reboot.
Tom Holland Spider-Man. Yeah,
yes.
I think it's a good fan theory, is what I think.
Right,
I think but I'm in the same. I think it's a cool theory to think about, and I think it's a cool theory. But I would agree that it would cheapen the James Bond character.
Yeah. They just recast the actor and more or less the same stories, and there are obvious different continuities, like the James Bond of the Sean Connery days is a completely different universe than the James Bond we got in the Pierce Brosnan days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and not only that, but that's not even counting like the Never Say Never, which was the semi-official James Bond movie that was made around the same time.
Oh, with Sean Connery with
coming back. It's like, I can still do this. I'm still sexy.
Yeah.
So he dies, and it turns out he was an alien woman this whole time.
He dies of diabetes, and he was pregnant. His name was Roseanne. Roseanne is 007.
And they send him back to his home planet that's filled with all the James Bonds, even George Lazenby.
Oh my God.
And at the end, they have to seduce and fight a topless frog monster in bracelets.
Makes sense. Wasn't that a Starman movie?
Probably. Starman goes to a planet where topless monsters are all over the place.
They must choose the highest being, known as Roseanne.
Hi, everybody. Our whole impression of Roseanne.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's more like, hi, everybody. That's more
right. Jack Travis says, Never Say Never Again also had Kim Basinger and Rowan Atkinson. That's right. They're both. I haven't seen Never Say Never Again since the age of library VHS tapes. So, and I don't remember the movie being that memorable, other than it had a female villain in it, which I don't know. I just know it was a very underwhelming James Bond movie.
I've only seen it once. Yeah.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I saw that like even before I saw all the.
You only watch a James Bond movie once.
I'm a James Bond fan, but I have to go back and watch them all again
and you only get a chance to watch a James Bond movie twice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, yeah, that's one that I don't remember all that well. I totally forgot the Rowan Atkinson was in it.
Yeah, what is he playing? Like a comic relief character? Like James Bond needs and he finds like an Italian narcoleptic man to help him. It's like, I would help you, yes.
I honestly don't remember. If Jack Davis could let us know. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember him playing. I don't remember him in the movie at all. So I don't know.
Yeah, James, please school us on the plot before we because we're gonna wind down a little bit. We've been talking
The,
about
the plot: a bloated hairpiece wearing Sean Connery tries to prove that he's still got the moves. That's the plot.
I can still do it. So yeah.
What was his last role? Extraordinary Gentleman.
Yes, extraordinary. Yeah, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He really wanted to go out on a bang, and instead he ended up being buried while a voodoo doctor summoned forth really terrible CGI effects.
What do you think of that movie, Ralph?
Okay, on one hand, of all the shitty, big budget flops from the late '90s, that movie's actually a lot of fun. The ones, if you turn,
I agree.
You don't need to turn your brain off, but you do need to turn the volume down from 10 to 7.
Yeah.
And compared to the original comic book that is based on, it's not good. But as its own little thing, it's a lot of fun, even though it still suffers from a lot of the embarrassment of riches and stupidity that 20th Century Fox got itself killed with. First off, you have like the world's largest submarine fitting in the Venice Thames with no problem. And it's not a very well designed submarine either. It's just a big old ivory ruler that happens to have like little silver doodads on the top. It may seem impressive, but it doesn't make sense as far as. And then there's like you have the whole scene. It's like, all right, there's a bomb underneath Venice, and we need to send our best scuba divers and all these extravagant and elaborate diving suits come parading, and it's like, oh, no time for that. It's like, it's the equivalent of like 20th Century Fox version of Cleopatra, where it's like, we made this giant set that's only we've seen for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, but on the other hand, it is a very fun movie once you get past all the stupidity. You accept the stupidity. It is a very fun movie. There's a lot of like really fun performances in there. I think Mark Tucker, my late friend Mark Tucker, just a bunch of old dead people around me. he said it. He actually enjoyed the movie a lot more than a comic book. And it's like, why, Mark? You're a man who reintroduced me to Shakespeare and Silver and Sullivan. What the fuck's wrong with you? And he compared the movie, and now it makes a lot of sense. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie is what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was doing outside. If there are, I gotta get a drink soon. If Sir Arthur Conan Doyle could make a movie today that didn't have anything to do with Sherlock Holmes, it would be League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And it's like, yeah, it does feel like one of his crazier adventure novels he wrote outside the whole Sherlock Holmes thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently, according to Jack Travis, Roland Atkinson was a comic relief and Never Say Never. But Connery chose Extraordinary Gentleman over playing Gandalf in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard about that.
I wonder how he felt after everything was said and done. So,
you think Connery would pull off Gandalf?
I think he would have been a good Gandalf, but at the same time, it's hard to imagine anyone outside.
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen, thank you. Almost Ian McGregor.
Yeah, I don't even like those movies, and I know more about them than you do.
Yeah, I love those movies, but I can't get any of the actors' names right.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think he may have been an interesting Gandalf. The only actor I regret who never had a chance to play Gandalf is, of course, Christopher Lee, because I think he would have been. Had they made Lord of the Rings in the 80s or the 90s, I think he would have been a fantastic Gandalf.
Yeah.
So, but like they said, he was too old for the role, and they decided to give him Saruman. And being the nerd he was like, "Yes, I shall accept it." Squeak. That's my impression of Christopher Lee being a fangirl. You're welcome.
That'd be great, right?
Thank you. So. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I can't really grasp my head around Sean Connery, and not only that, but there would be no doubt that he would have retired the minute the movies were over, if he did accept the role, because there's no way in heck he would come back for the Hobbit movies.
No.
Okay, with that said, I honestly do need to get a drink, so I will be right back. You can entertain.
Great.
Yeah, entertain the audience for 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes.
God, just grab a drink and come back, Rob. Hurry back.
Okay, I'll do my best. All right.
I don't know what to talk. Give me a topic to talk about. I don't know what to
topic to talk about. Your thoughts on the KTMA days of Mystery Science Theater?
Oh my God! All right, thank you for giving me something I can go at length about. Okay, so here's for the couple people out there in the ether who may be interested. The KTMA days of Mystery Science Theater are kind of the they're the formative episodes, and they're the ones that even in the fandom people are like, there's the people out there who can tolerate season 1, but admittedly the KTMA days are kind of it's a weird sort of public access embryonic fluid, I guess, of Mystery Science Theater, where it's literally them just sitting down and figuring out the premise as they go. Because originally the concept that Joel Hodgson had was, oh, we're just going to sit down in the corner and be companions in the movie watching experiences, not meaning, oh, we're going to make comments and tell jokes and whatnot all throughout the entire movie. Originally, like if you look back on what was meant to be, or what was supposedly a lost episode and was for so long, the very first episode, the Mysterions one, literally it's just a big chunk of silence, and then Joel will occasionally pipe up with an "uh-oh" occasionally. So there's not really any commentary there, and it's literally just him, Josh Weinstein, and Trace Beaulieu sitting at the bottom of the screen, improvising all this stuff and just making the occasional comments occasionally. And if you look back on it as a historical piece, I still think it's fun. Like if I was a viewer in 1989 watching this on a local station, flipping through the channels, I would stop and say, hey, look, little guy, old funny puppets, I like this. Oh, and there's a Gamma movie. Okay, I'm interested. The Gamma movies especially were really... Are you back yet, Raph?
I'm here. Just let me pour my drink. You're doing a good job. Keep going.
Well, because you've given me something I can talk and defend around.
Yeah.
The KTMA episodes, you have to look at them in their own context. And I really enjoy them as they're very, I don't know, the Mystery Science Theater at its best. And I do love Mike to death, but I think it's something that's synonymous with the Joel episodes, and why I go back to those so often is it's the perfect TV show for me to it's a comfort food. Like I feel it when I want to sit down and watch something that's cozy and friendly and warm, and hey, it's a nice time had by all. I think you have to appreciate the KTMA episodes as a very rough sort of just ragtag, hey, we're putting on a show kind of comfort food show. And they are what they are, but I still think if you look at them with that perspective, they're fun watches to at least sort of understand the history. Thank you for giving me something to rant about. Now you're back.
Yes, now I'm back, just in time too. So I have not seen enough KTMA days to really have an opinion of it, but I do agree as an experimental historical landmark, it works out.
Yeah. Well, again, they're not something I would recommend going back into cold turkey. Hey, I like that term, cold turkey. It should be used more. You definitely have to look at. You have to put on a different cap when you watch it. You have to put on that historical looking at it as if you are someone watching this for the first time and you had never seen anything else. Mm-hmm. Kind of like watching. Well, not even then, because the unaired or whatever pilot for Star Trek, what is the Birdcage, I think is what it's called. Where it's like a different Spock is the only one who's there from the actual show. There's a different captain, a different crew.
Yeah, is that Commander Pike in #1, the sexy brunette who was supposed to be the original Captain Spock?
I don't remember if it's Pike or not. I can't. I'm not that big.
I don't know who that actress is, but in that blue dress with those high heels, it's that's a good looking lady.
But it's more of an extreme version of that, where this isn't the show I know at all, but you kind of have to put your mind in the perspective of, oh, I'm a CBS from Paramount executive from whatever, and I'm seeing this, they're trying to sell this kooky space show to me, and I'm like, I see there's a germ of an idea here.
Yeah, for a moment there, your explanation of the Star Trek pilot sounded like Red Letter Media's explanation of the
Oh God, what is it? Those terrible Star Trek movies made from Abrams.
Oh, the J.J. Abrams. Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah,
Because I hate things that I hate things that the majority of people, and I'm not going to comment on the Netflix Mystery Science Theater thing, but I hate things where the majority are saying, "Oh yeah, this is great," but it's entirely it's too different. It misses it like flies over the head. It's an entirely different beast from what came before. Like the J.J. Abrams movie, yeah, it's fun action movie, and hey, it's whatever, and he's paying homage with like the same characters and whatever. And hey, look, Leonard Nimoy's back, isn't that fun? But yeah, they're just,
we propped him up and got him out of his basement. Took off those goddamn Hobbit ears and his singing soundtrack.
I will not have you disparage the damn good name of Leonard Nimoy rap. He was the best thing about those J.J. Abrams movies.
No. I just had to make fun of it because after watching the Red Letter Media reviews, they brought up a good point where the versions of Spock and Kirk that are shown up in that movie, along with all the other characters, are like extreme cartoon footnotes of what people think those characters.
Oh yeah, they're what are they called? They're like archetype, like characterizations. Yeah. Like, oh, gay Kirk, he sleeps around, he's a rebel, man, and Spock, man, he's a
I enjoy alien women as much as the next guy, present company not excluded, but it's get it because you don't much care for alien women.
I care for Ricardo Montalban.
Of course, even I gotta admit that's a good.
Who does?
Yeah. But it's like even I thought that was getting a little ridiculous, like especially in the second movie where he's like in a threesome with twin cat girls. Like that's dumb, regardless if it's tantalizing. It's like, and of course the recurring gag about red shirts in those movies really pissed me off.
Yeah, well, it's a Star Trek movie made by a guy who wanted to make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
very similar to Man of Steel being a Superman movie made by a guy who wanted to make a Batman movie.
Yeah, and written by the guy behind the Transformer movies, who is also a 9/11 truther.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
Yeah, Robert Orsi. It's like he's as much to blame as the director of those movies.
Wow.
So,
but anyway, yeah, not good.
Yeah, they're
not good for me anyway. The movies made by someone who didn't like Star Trek, made for people who've never seen Star Trek.
That's not a good mix. So and it's great they have Jay Ballman. Oh, I finally got his name right. James Ballman as the one I got his name wrong.
Jay Ballman is from Red Letter Media Route.
Yeah, no. In the review for Star Trek Into Darkness, he said that he is the unabashed non-Star Trek fan. And as a regular audience member, as he calls himself, even he thought the movie sucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad he was there. But no, earlier I was talking about because I've been marathoning Red Letter Media reviews left and right these last couple of nights, and yeah, it's like I got Rich Evans' voice, Mike Sikoska name more or less right. But it's like I couldn't think of James Ballman. I just thought it's like a little guy who looks like Captain America but smaller.
Yeah, Jay Ballman. Yeah, Captain America before the injection.
Right. So
that's me pretty much. I'm Captain America before the injection, and I just go around life like that.
Yeah, but unlike, you're tall enough that I think you could actually take care of yourself in the fight, or at least run away more effectively.
Well, yeah, I kickbox and I'm a sprinter.
yeah. It's like no offense to Captain America, but. Yeah, it really comes off like they put like a giant head on a little kid's body. So
it's quite amusing.
Yeah. So good special effects though, but still, it's like yeah. Did you have?
I prefer him as older when he turns into Joe Biden at the end of Endgame.
Really, it's more like a much friendlier version of Clint Eastwood to me.
Yeah.
So it's like
I made a Photoshop graph that I'll send to you.
Okay. So by the way, while you do that. Jack Travis says, "Do you think Telly Savalas should have played Lex Luthor instead of Gene Hackman? I personally think that's one of the biggest missed opportunities in terms of casting." Well, Telly Savalas, as we know, was born naturally bald. He never had hair on his head at all throughout his entire life. He's like Patrick Stewart. Okay, joke aside, though, it would have been cool to see Telly Savalas play Lex Luthor. And I think Telly Savalas would have been a good mix between the more serious Lex Luthor, but still have a bit of that comical wink.
not like I like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor quite a bit, other than the fact that he didn't want to wear the ball cap the whole time. But that's just aesthetics and semantics, so to speak. Other than that, he played a really good version of the Golden Age Lex Luthor. It's like, oh, if it was a hoax, it would have been created by me. That kind of nonsense. That wonderful bombastic supervillain. With Lex Luthor, I think it would have been a good mix between the funny Gene Hackman portrayal of the character and the suave and intimidating version that we got with Superman the Animated Series with oh darn, what's the name of the guy? That wonderful voice actor with the really deep voice.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown, thank you. Good old Clancy Brown. So he was Mr. Krabs, don't you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would have been a good. Yeah, I think it is kind of a missed opportunity. So again, it's similar to like the situation with Christopher Lee as Gandalf. That would have been really cool to see. But I'm also not too sad that we didn't get it because we still had a good actor who took on the role.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least.
Did you hear that? What's his name? Ian McKellen was offered Dumbledore also rap after Richard Harris had died.
Oh God. What was the story behind that? It's like, you played Dumbledore before. That was a different role. Screw you.
No, what was it? Apparently, I saw a video on it. Apparently, Richard Harris had kind of dissed Ian McKellen in the subtly in an very English way, dissed Ian McKellen in the past. And then Ian McKellen was, "No, sir, I could not possibly take over the role of someone who did not approve of me." And that's when they brought in Michael Gambon. And then they asked him, do you regret not taking the role? And he's like, well, when I see posters of the Harry Potter movies, I have to stop and say, wait, is that me?
Okay, hold on. I got distracted. I kind of screwed up on my artwork here. There we go. I think we saved it. All right. I'm on the wrong layer. That happens to me a lot when I'm not concentrating.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. Jack Travis redacted his message because he said SJW. Damn you, Jack Travis.
No.
Ah! Ah! Yes, magic. Oh, God. Hold on. One last thing. Clancy Brown, based on his performance as Lex on Telly's performance as Blowfield from Her Majesty's Secret Service. I was like, whoosh. I need that I need to contemplate that for a little bit, my friend. So,
what did he say? Just read it back.
Clancy Brown based his performance as Lex on Telly's performance as Blofeld on Her Majesty's Secret. That's right. Telly. So that's an ironic factoid, Jack. Yes, I totally forgot. Telly Savalas did play Blofeld for a little while, and okay. I can see how Clancy Brown basically he was basically doing a Telly Savalas impression. So who loves you, baby? Not Superman. Lex, no, just because we did it. Come on, Lois Lane, you know you love me.
That's pretty disturbing, rap.
No, that was actually a subplot in the show. It's like they used to date. Okay, hold on. Let me move my little camera here so people can see this stupid little thing you've made.
He's holding a Captain Canada. He's holding a Canada shield. If you can see that, by the way.
Right. I don't know, but can you want to read it and do the voiceover?
You be his little sidekick, and I'll be me.
So, are you gonna tell me why Canadians sell freaking bags of milk?
Nope. No, I don't think I will.
That's okay. That's basically an older version of you, right?
Oh yeah, that's me with the face app, whatever thing to make me look ancient.
Oh my God, it's like you got hit by the stroke laser from outer space.
That's what I look like without makeup, Raph.
Oh my goodness.
My age is showing. My inner age is showing. It's reflecting on the outside finally.
Yeah, that's actually.
I'm starting to look my age.
Yeah, that's how you look like during the filming of the G-Fest YouTubers panel.
yeah, just all the energy is like drained out.
Yeah, it's like.
You know the Wasp Woman, Raph? That's basically my life story.
Oh. Oh man.
I need to get the wasp juice to make me young again. The bee juice.
I need the bee juice. I haven't seen that movie, but I can imagine that's an actual line of dialogue.
But we haven't seen the Wasp Woman.
No, I haven't.
Roger Corman's Wasp Woman, really?
Yes, I only saw his kinkier 1990s remake.
Oh my god, the original one's terrible. You love it.
That sounds like Red Letter Media review suggested. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's horribly, wonderfully gray and boring in a wonderful 50s, 60s Roger Corman way. But the cinematic Titanic of it is really good.
Oh my goodness.
The movie's kind of that's a classic rap.
Right. Okay. I think I will definitely look into it then. So.
Yeah.
By the way, do you think the tendrils on the Plesiotrus here should match the colors as underbelly? This kind of dull orange type color?
Maybe.
Okay. Now I'll go with a slightly brighter orange.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to try to keep it uniform. Because unless you're doing the rainbow serpent, you don't want to go crazy with the color choices.
Is that a Sampo Sands movie rap, The Rainbow Serpent?
No, that the rainbow serpent is a creature from Aborigine mythology.
Oh, okay, it just sounds like a title of one.
Yeah, a massive creature of existence who basically spread itself across the world, creating the world.
Ah.
So it is literally a giant rainbow-colored serpent. Massive. Huge, humongous.
I think Ghidorah would have looked a little silly if he had been rainbowed.
That's right. He was originally supposed to have rainbow wings, but I don't know. There's conflicting reports. Some people say that was just the unpainted version of the costume. Other people say that was just a lighting test. So, because the gold reflected a totally different color if you used a different filter.
Ah. Here's a question, Raph.
Yes, these are natural.
I don't think Denny Roth has answered this in his last two panels. I didn't go to the first one. I went to this past one and he didn't answer.
Yes, they're natural, is what he would say.
I would be curious. How does Godzilla breathe in space?
Toho Central Air. That's a good question. That's a very good question.
I'm legitimately kind of curious. Like, I don't try to think about. I don't overthink these movies by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't think about this stuff very often. But yeah, that has always kind of interested me.
Well,
how the hell does he breathe in space?
Yeah. Okay, I know that when he's transported from Earth to Planet X, he's in those little capture bubbles, so he's safe in there. Let's not count Space Godzilla because that's just all sorts of insanity. So who gives a shit about people breathing in space? It's like Power Rangers. Apparently you can breathe on the moon in your regular street clothes and it's no problem. As far as Godzilla versus God, we're talking about Invasion of Astro Monsters here, right?
Yeah.
I just at first it's like, you're right. How the hell does the monsters? I can get King Ghidorah.
How does Rodan fly in space? Is another question. How does gravity affect him?
Yeah. Okay. Like with King Ghidorah, he's an alien, so we can just.
He's used to it. Yeah.
There's a reason why they're called gravity beams. But
then, he was born in it, Raph, molded by space.
Yeah, but then
But Godzilla and Rodan, who have never been in contact with space air or lack of before, how do they breathe and operate?
Well, I'm happy to tell you. I just realized something because first off, they're on a planet, so it's not like they're waving their arms in space. They're not.
Yeah, but there's no sky around.
Yeah,
it's just space stars.
But on Planet X, okay, we never see Glenn and
Fuji.
Thank you,
yeah.
Fuji. I love you, Fuji. I want to have your baby.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Glenn,
stop. Glenn, I thought you were on my side. Oh, you cheeky. Oh, you hardened bitch.
You're a hard bitch.
What did you say about me, Fuge? You cheeky pig, you.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Those two really are the best couple in the whole Godzilla franchise.
I think there should be like a page, just supporting all the gay couples in the Godzilla franchise.
And it's just 100 pictures of astronaut Gwen and Fuji.
And then the guys from Godzilla vs. Megalon.
Okay, technically it's an older brother and his bachelor friend. Never mind.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Anyways, we adopted this child. from space. Okay, so at Invasion of Astro Monsters, at first, yeah, you're right. It's a planet that doesn't look like it has an atmosphere. But then I realized something. Okay, Glenn and Fuji are always wearing their spacesuits, but the aliens of Planet X, or the Exilians, they go out there unprotected all the time. So I'm guessing they're...
Yeah, because it's their planet, and they can survive on it.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's a planet where there is an atmosphere, but it's still hostile towards humans. But non-humans, whether they're giant monsters or aliens, can handle it okay. So I guess, yeah, it's like above ground, no problem for the Exilians. No problems for a freaky deaky radiation monster like Godzilla or Rodan. So, King Ghidorah, whatever.
Rodan's not even a radiation. It's just a dinosaur, right? Rodan's just a big birdie.
Well, after a lot of research and reading, yeah, he's technically the same kind of mutation, similar to Godzilla. But at first, I thought he was just a regular pterodactyl who just happens to wake up in modern times and got big, eating up all the buggies.
That's what I've always thought.
Yeah, but no, it turns out, yeah, he's been slightly affected by radiation, just not to the same extent as Godzilla. But he's a mutant monster too.
Aren't all these fucking things affected by radiation? Do something original. Just have it be a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, the only one who is
Gorosaurus is just a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah. The only one who is 100% dinosaur is Gorosaurus, of course, and Baragon. Believe it or not, all that is just Baragon.
Yeah.
His radiation breath, his light horn, his floppy ears. He's just a dinosaur.
He just does what he does.
Yeah, maybe Godzilla can Jack Travis says, maybe Godzilla can just naturally breathe in space. I mean, he can sleep in the ocean.
Yeah, but he's an amphibian type of thing, though, right? We can survive in both the ocean and land.
Yeah. And as Wikizilla pointed out, there's been multiple Japanese books that confirm that he has gills, aka the seam holes on the neck for Haru Nakajima. Great way to cover that up, boys.
So what explains the giant tan nose inside his neck hole?
I don't know. I guess he has a second giant human-like nose in his neck hole.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, so it's not just me. Sometimes Haru Nakajima's nose is sticking out of Godzilla's neck.
Oh yeah, I noticed that as a kid. What is that orange thing? Oh my god, it's his face.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's... I love that the Godzilla movies went out of their way to do the best they can with what they got, but at the same time, there's some moments where it's like, I think I saw an actor's arm.
Yeah, I don't like Sea Monster as a movie, but the thing I like a lot about it is you just see the gradual disintegration of that suit throughout the entire thing. Because when he bursts out of the mountain in his first scene, hey, that looks pretty good.
Yeah,
and then
great.
But by the time you get to the part where he's destroying their little base, and his eyes are just it looks like he had a stroke. His eyes are just melted down and slouched into a weird lopsided position.
Yeah.
And one of the eyeball lids are all fogged up in his mouth. And it's all baggy and grotesque. Yeah, I just love that. How you can just see throughout the course of the movie it falling apart. That's what happens when you put foam and latex in the water.
Yeah. And that suit was already on its last legs, too. So, it's kind of...
It was only in one movie.
Yeah, well, no, it was in I think it's been heavily... It originally appeared in Godzilla vs. King... No. Oh, God, I'm not even...
Invasion of Astro Monster. For that suit. It was the first one for that. It looked fine in Invasion of Astro Monster.
Yeah, but the thing about that was a refurbished version of the Godzilla vs. Mothra suit. No. It's okay, that suit originally appeared in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Dragon. It was refurbished for Godzilla vs. the Invasion of Astro Monster. And then by the time it showed up in Sea Monster, I think it was starting to fall apart. And I've heard that that suit is actually just a refurbished version of the Godzilla vs. Mothra suit. So, I don't know.
I always thought that the Godzilla vs. Mothra head was lopped off for Gomez or whatever.
No. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. The suit was also used on Ultraman.
Yeah. And Jiris. And the 65 one was used on Jiris, because that's that head.
Yeah, we can't count Son of Godzilla because that was a completely new Godzilla suit worn by the wrong actor. Originally they were supposed to get this large football player or sports star to play Godzilla and Son of Godzilla, but he opted out. So instead, it was Haruo Nakajima in this costume. That's way too big for someone.
Well, no. It was Haruo Nakajima in the water scenes, but it was Yuji Sakai or something. Not Yuji Sakai. It was somebody for the land stuff. Like Nakajima was just in the. Nakajima wasn't in the main dumb-looking suit. He was in the sea monster one that, from then on, was the only suit they put in the water. Same thing with Hedra too. I think Hedra was the last appearance of the 65 suit.
No. Hedra. They made a brand new Godzilla suit for Destroy All Monsters.
Well, I know, but in the water, you can see it in the water sequences. Whenever it's in the water, from then on, it was that suit because it was also in Destroy All Monsters in the water.
Right.
And then they used the Son of Godzilla suit for the water scenes in Gigan, which is funny.
Right. Like 8 hours later. No, you don't understand. It's that suit.
Yeah. They used the Son of Godzilla suit in Gigan because that's where it's most glaring to me out of anything is how different it looks. Because you see the giant, blubbery, weirdly faced Godzilla talking in the water, saying, "Hurry up, we gotta go.
Hurry up, we better hurry. Oh yeah.
There's a lot of trouble ahead."
I don't know why we give a crap about these goddamn humans, but they pay for our fish on the island.
Yeah.
So, I know you don't like sushi, but it's like there's this great where I'm dog sitting for my brother. Like down the street, there's a place called Tokyo Central, Maine. It's a really great store in Gardena. Oh my god, they have the best prices on sushi. I got like a huge sushi roll for like only $6. Like no, just under $6. And that stuff's like $15 at restaurants if you ask for it new. And it filled me up great. And it's like, oh, I'm so looking forward to dog sitting tomorrow because I'm going to walk down. I'm going to go there early and get myself some sushi. Yeah, sushi. Gotta have my sushi.
Oh my
god. So Jack Travis asks a question, since he's the only one with us. What type of monsters do you find more scary? Humanoid or non-humanoid? I think it really depends. Like sometimes you can get a humanoid monster that's pretty terrifying. Whether it's something simply unnerving, like the like proper versions of the Slendermen, or zombies, or creature, or like what is it? The Titans from Attack on Titan are pretty creepy looking aberrations of what a human vestige should look like. But then every once in a while you have some non-human monsters, or a mix of the two, like the xenomorphs from the Alien franchise, that look really good for what they are. So yeah, I think it depends on design as far as what's scarier. And then of course the monster itself has to be scary. Unfortunately, being a monster movie fan, you sometimes don't find monsters scary, even if they are the villains who need to be avoided. Like, what is it? I know, let's face it, Godzilla during the Heisei era is a pretty handsome-looking, dragonic-like creature, isn't he?
I'm not going to fall into your trap, right?
Okay. I'm not going to reveal who I find handsome, who I don't find handsome.
I'm not going to play into your weird, sick fascination with non-humanoid beings.
But come on, the Shape of Water creature, it's like...
I always thought he looked like a giant fat cat in the Heisei movies, rep, so I can't really follow suit with you.
Meow! I'll get you, Rescue Rangers! I'm Godzilla! Meow! They don't call him Fat Cat nothing.
Tomiyuki Tanaka's nickname on the Toho lot was Fat Cat, and that's how Godzilla got his name.
I don't like Mondays.
Oh, Odie.
Oh god! And the little Rodan puppet from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla was Odie. Actually, now that it's like, what is it? It also doesn't help that like okay, face wise, I think Heisei Godzilla is very majestic, dragon like. But you're right, body wise. Along with the face,
rolls upon rolls. That
yeah. It's like, what is it? The joke was like Godzilla is getting big in the hip area.
Yeah, he's putting on a few pounds, like Brando.
Yeah, especially when you get to movies like Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, where it looks like Godzilla didn't know he was making a movie that year, so he decided to let himself go a little bit. and then it's like, and then he's just like laying in his mansion eating Cheetos, and it's like ring ring ring.
It's like the.
Hello? What? I'm making a movie.
You see? Did you've seen that the teaser for The Incredibles where it's just the teaser of Bob trying to put on his costume,
Yeah,
and he's like trying to like buckle the belt
I love
and
that.
trying his hardest.
That is one of
That's
the best teasers ever in cinematic
That's-
history.
that's Godzilla in the later part of the Heisei series. Yeah.
It's like it's showtime.
Da, 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 da.
That explains that one scene in Space Godzilla where when Godzilla rises out of the ocean, there's like a giant human pot belly sticking out.
It's like under he is somehow wearing a shirt. It's like a little humanoid pot belly under the suit.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh god, yeah. It's weird to rate monster beauty because I know you that reference you made is like I have an unfortunate habit of falling in love with female
I
monsters.
don't find cartoons or non-human creatures attractive, Rap. I'm weird like that.
I know, but at the same time, it's like there's an obvious difference between a kaiju that is just outright hideous, like Hedorah is made of toxic waste and crap, and Shin Godzilla is this hideous toothy mouse thing. You would not want to hug these creatures if they were human size. But then, like 95 Gamera looks like a pleasant fellow. You just want to go give a hug. So
From Guardian of the Universe?
Yeah, he looks like he's adorable looking.
Comparatively to like fucking the Advent or Revenge of whatever the hell of Iris, where he's just like he looks like he's on crack.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what is Gamera in the 1995 film? It'd be like if you were stuck in the world of the Dark Crystal. It's like, oh my god, everything's evil, and then Gamera pops up. It's like, I'll protect you. Yeah,
that's a good way of describing it. Yeah, the Gamera from the third Heisei movie looks like as if he was in the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a testament to how good that costume and design is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, even though, and I know originally they wanted to do like Gamera 3 right off the bat, but it was like, no, you can't make Gamera scary. Kids love them. Kids love turtle meat.
Yeah. And
in Japan, they probably do. So, but yeah, there's some kaiju that are like, I'm not going to say something like, oh, a Mothra's hot, I jump her bones. No, of course not. Mothra.
Are you as in Shoma and Mothra like a thing? A symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, that does get a little too ridiculous. Like you could have just said Godzilla happens to be friendly with the Mothras. You know, you didn't have to say like, oh, they're symbiotic relationship. That's
messed up.
Yeah, but
that's a ridiculous movie.
Yeah, but you can still say some monsters are handsome looking by monster comparisons. Just in general beauty, like how you could say some animals are majestic looking, while others are. Because there's a big difference between a beautiful stallion horse compared to the hagfish, aka a giant eel that just spits out mucus by a gallon every second when it doesn't want to be caught or eaten.
You seem pretty shallow, Raph. You don't even get to know these creatures.
I don't like hagfish, okay? Have you ever seen a hagfish?
I've seen what's on the inside, Raph.
Right.
It's
filled with mucus. You jerk.
Okay.
Yeah, no, seriously, there's like nature footage.
I believe you. I believe you, Raph. I believe you. Please don't elaborate.
Okay, so let me tell you in clear detail about the hagfish and why I think dried out white poop is better than all other forms of poop.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, Raph. Don't be talking about hagfishes.
Okay, all right. Oh, with that says, yeah, we've been going on for almost 4 hours here. I think we're going to end it. No sign of Andres, so won't be continuing there. So yeah, I'm going to wrap things up. Jack Travis has one last question, and sadly, I think we don't have a very good answer for it. What the hell's your guys' deal? No, he asks, have you seen Highlander? I hate to say it, I've never properly sat down and watched a Highlander movie minus a television edit of Highlander 2.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to see the first Highlander because that seems like that when they had the formula just right before they made the horrible mistake of franchising it. But other than that, yeah, I can't really talk too much about Highlander. I just remembered like a freaking Highlander fighting cybernetic crowmen in the future streets of New York or something. So,
as a proper Scotsman, no, I have never seen Highlander.
right. Are you Scotch?
What, do you think the Connor name is like French, ref?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an easy to mistake. You are French Canadian.
No, I'm not.
All right, you're Canadian.
French Connor is anyway. Please.
So isn't true your grandfather was like walking down from the pub when he
You're
was
very
back?
wrong about my heritage, Raf.
Right. So, but I was going to ask, is that how your grandfather went? He walked down the pub and all of a sudden cybernetic crowmen attacked?
Yeah, so Highlander is a very personal. It's a very personal movie that I'm ashamed I haven't seen yet.
Right. My impression of half the villains from Highlander 2.
I believe it.
Okay. That's I don't know.
I hear it's a piece of crap movie.
Yeah, I don't know. When they introduced the whole idea that Highlanders are secretly
The
aliens.
Quickening, right? That's
the Quickening. Hello, boy. I'm back from the dead.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, Clancy Brown and Sean Connery on Highlander. That's why he brought it up.
I'm the Highlander boy. I'm Clancy Brown.
I'll cut your head off. Oh no. Sorry, I was doing realistic Clancy Brown from that movie. You were doing Clancy Brown doing his silly impression. Mr. Krabs.
Hey, boyo. Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Money.
You need to destroy this evil Highlander.
Okay, can do, Mr. Krabs.
Oh, what a wonderful day. Anyway, okay.
It's not a wonderful day for me because I'm Irish.
All right. So, Jack Travis, final words is thanks. I've had fun here. Thank you, Jack Travis, for joining us. A little bit of flavor into this group chat was welcome. But other than that, this was a lot of fun, Brayton. I think I'll definitely do more live streams where it's just me and one other person. Especially since all I have are these two goddamn speakers and Skype. Thanks for nothing, YouTube. I'm
sure there's a way. Just look around, Raph. You'll find a way to add people.
Yeah. Oh God, this has been both. This experiment has both sucked and been pleasant at the same time. So.
I'm kind of interested in you should do one of these on your own, Raph, and just as an experiment to see how it is. Just Raph and Shoma's brain farting for an hour. Just
when this video is fully uploaded on YouTube, go back and watch the first half an hour, and you'll see a terrifying semblance of what that could have been.
Oh God, just you waving puppets in front of the camera and making goofy, hairy faces.
No. It's worse. It's me going mad, and it's like, oh God. There's a reason why I've been saying bazinga throughout the night. Okay.
I thought it was just your general shtick, Ralph.
No.
Okay.
So, all right. So before we end this, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Kaiju for Hipsters. 101 Alternative Giant Monster Movies by Kevin Dorndorf. Get it on Amazon as we speak right now. And remember, if you do, Kevin Dorndorf will give you a free kiss with every copy. Now, any last things you want to bring up, Brayton, before we call it night?
Our Gamma versus Jiger episode is coming later this month, hopefully. Yay! Yeah. Jiger! Shakalaka coon, folks. Exactly. Hashtag Shakalaka coon. That's all I'm saying.
Jiger. I just screwed up my artwork there doing that stupid Aquaman game. Oh,
I haven't seen Aquaman yet, so I can't appreciate the gag.
I think Red Letter. I don't know, not Red Letter Media, but Movie Bob said it best. It's either the best, stupidest movie you've ever seen, or it's the worst, stupidest movie you've ever seen. But it's definitely worth a watch just for the spectacle alone. So, but at the same time, there's so much spectacle, it gets a little ridiculous at times.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for this little semi-successful Band-Aid on a wet turd that is YouTube. Before I go, let me bring up the Plesiotrus one last time to see how much work. I didn't get as much work as I wanted to on it, but at least I got the initial colors. The line work is clean, and I still got to do the gradients, and there's going to be a lot of lighting effects. But this is kind of a preview of what's to come.
Ooh.
Okay, you can see it on YouTube right now. I think maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, still a couple of whatever. We'll get there. So yeah, just keep doing the ooh noises, and we'll pretend that you can see it right now.
Ooh, look at that. Look at the detail.
Yes, it's so nice. Very nice.
He's nice.
It's nice. Okay. So yeah, hopefully I can get that done and get it uploaded. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, there should be some artwork I should be doing for Japan World's Hero, which is a convention I'll be attending from the 16th to the 18th at the Pasadena Convention Center. I'm going to try to do some original artwork and print out some prints, but for the most part, I'm just going to go there as nonchalantly as possible. So, but we'll see what happens. But no, Brayton, thank you very much for joining me, and thank you, Jack Travis. Yes, I got his name right. As our one and only sit-in audience at the night. And to anybody who watches this later, thank you so much for sitting through this whole nonsense. All right? And go to hell, YouTube.